All kinds of excited for Bedford Fremont-Mills on the KMA Extreme Friday night. I'll have the call alongside Tom Peterson, talking now with Fremont-Mills head coach Greg Ernster. Coach, you're coming off of a dominant win over St. Edmund. Made a long road trip up to Fort Dodge, and you leave with the win. Now you've had a couple of days to reflect. Touch on that victory and what stood out to you on Friday night.
Well, just proud of the overall effort of the boys. You watch that game film, and I thought from start to finish, our boys competed and just gave tons of effort, which is kind of what we asked for. It was, one of our most complete games. Obviously, there's still some things that I wasn't necessarily happy about looking back, but we were able to overcome those, and just really proud of the way those boys played.
Yeah, start to finish, was that your guys' best performance of the year?
It had to be close. Offensively, we were able to score early. We were able to move the sticks, keep drives going. On every big drive they had, we had an answer for it on defense. So, yeah, I would say it's pretty darn close to it. And just, again,
I'm all kinds of excited for Bedford Fremont-Mills on the KMA Extreme
Friday
night. I'll have the call alongside Tom Peterson, talking now with Fremont-Mills head coach. You guys were really balanced. I know you're healthy on the offensive end. Coach, you're coming off of a dominant win over St. Edmund. Made a long road trip up to Fort Dodge, and you leave with the win. Now you've got a couple of days to reflect. Touch on that victory and what stood out to you on Friday night.
Missed opportunities in the Ottoman. Just proud of the overall effort of the boys. You watch that game film, and that looks kind of how it was. If we're clicking on tons of effort, which is kind of what we asked for things. We just got to one of our most complete games. Going forward, obviously there's still some things that I wasn't necessarily happy about looking back
on Friday night.
But we were able to overcome those, and just really proud of the way those boys played.
I know you touched a lot on your effort. Was that your guys' best performance of the year? Speak to
it had to be close. Offensively, we were able to score early. Well, you have a handful of seniors that are their drives going for every last game. On every big drive they had, we had an guys who are willing to fight for each other. I would say it's pretty darn close to it. Again, coaching and whatnot. But the effort's there.
Offensively, I know on Friday night has kind of been the case all season.
Those are effort plays. Those are
you guys were really balanced. I know you're healthy on the offensive end now.
They love to play defense.
You guys are your best offensively.
Tough task.
What are you guys capable of? You feel like
defensively, our guys are excited. Well, I think we're capable.
Before we dive into the Bedford matchup, tough question here for you, Coach. Who or
missed opportunities in the Ottoman game? We're in the red zone 4 times and didn't score. And that score then looks kind of how it was. So, if we're clicking on all tough question there, I would do some things. We just got to continue to do that. Going forward. Every game,
the
it seems like there's a different kid for us that does something that we want to see. It's not just the same kid over and over and over again. There's been a handful of kids, different games that have had big moments, and so it's not just the same kid. It's other kids stepping up and making plays.
Seems like it's firing on all cylinders
looking
right now. This Friday,
well, you have a handful of seniors that are
in the round of 16,
they're ready to fight
and it
for
really
every
feels
last
like
game
kind of what they do well, and the blueprint that they've had the last couple of years kind of mirrors what you guys have done for so many years there at Fremont-Mills. Touch on this matchup, the draw, and how you guys are feeling heading into it.
That's pure effort. First off, those are effort plays. Those are an hour execution of doing what you're supposed to do. 3.5. The defense is just, they love to play defense. They're flying around. So, but you look at this week, but it's, defensively, our guys are similarities.
Yeah, before we dive into
what we do and what they like to do.
Tough question here for you, Coach. Who or what
football team? They're going to be
the most
they're a little more old school in some capacity, going under center and things of that nature. But man, they execute their offense very, very well. Tough question there. I would just say Quentin Dalton. That kid has just been surprised on. He reminds me a lot of Lane Speaker. Every game it seems like there's a different kid for us that does something that we want back and forth. It's not just the same kid over and over and over again. You've seen it in other sports. There's been a handful of kids, different games that have had big moments. We're going to have our hands full, but that other kid stepping up and making plays. Done a great job.
Now looking for this Friday, Bedford, the opponent in the round of 16, and it really feels like kind of what they do well. Yeah, when you look at their offense. They don't make a lot of secret about what they want to do. What you guys have done for so many years when they throw the ball, they've been really, really efficient. Touch on this matchup, you guys have to draw, and how you guys are feeling heading into it.
Defensively, we're going to have the gas down, and then an hour, front half, and then the back half, we're going to have to be ready for some play action. We're going to have to be ready for. Really excited about that. We've played these guys multiple times, and it's run, similarities, really confident offensively for what we do and what they like to do. We're just going to have to really preach in the back half of we're going to have to participate. They're going to be, and then we're going to have to make sure they're a little more old school. He does a great job of going under center, that needs sideline to sideline. They're going to find their offense cut back very well. Those are the things that we're really going to have to focus on, is just to kind of corral him. He's going to get his. No doubt he reminds me a lot of Lane Speaker. You watch that, we just got to limit what he got. Him and
then offensively for you guys going against their defense, they're big physical. I think they've only given up like 6 points in the last 5 games. Where will you guys have to have your
but
success
that offense and that coaching staff has done a great job.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to move the chains. We're going to have to make sure we're supposed to do. They fly to the football.
When we throw the ball, we're going to have to be efficient. I know those are all coach talk,
when you look at their offense, they don't make a lot of secret about what they want to do. They want to run the football. When they throw the ball, they've been really efficient. What will you guys have to do defensively?
We're going to have to be physical.
Defensively, we're going to have to gap down, and then we're going to have to make sure we find our spots. We're going to have to be ready for play action. We're going to have to be ready.
Looking forward to it. That's Greg Ernster, head football coach at Fremont-Mills. Coach, appreciate the time and best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Looking forward to Bedford at Fremont-Mills.
The back half
Friday night, second round action there in Class
A. And then we're going to have to make sure that we anticipate cutback. He does a great job of
talking about Bedford head coach Jeremy Nally. Coach, I mean, you guys started the postseason with a dominant win over Wayne. I know you've had probably a few days now to dissect that game.
We just got to limit.
I mean, tell me about that game. And then offensively for you guys going against their defense, they're big, physical. I think they've only given up like 6 points in the last 5 games. Where will you guys have to have your success offensively?
Punch another one in.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to move the chains. We're going to have to make sure we get a head on a hat in the run game. When we throw the ball, we're going to have to be efficient. I know those are all coach talks, but I mean, that's just exactly what we have to do. They're very long defensive line wise. They have a big nose. That freshman, he's darn good. We're going to have to be physical.
I know as of late, you guys have been able to do that quite a bit.
We're going to have to make sure we find our spots and when the ball comes,
maybe you're forcing teams at that point.
Looking forward to it. That's Greg Ernster, head football coach at Fremont-Mills. Coach, appreciate the time and best of luck on Friday.
For what you guys want to do.
I think it's really important for us. We're not a team that's going to throw the ball around a lot, and we want to kind of establish what we're going to do. And if we can run the ball, we're going to run the ball. We'll mix a pass in here and there, but we like to get out early and make to where teams got to kind of, maybe press a little bit to do something they normally wouldn't do. But as we move on, we're going to have to be ready to. We talked about it last week. Sustain drives, and be able to play a little different style than we normally do too.
On the offensive end, as you mentioned, I mean, you guys want to run the football, and you've done so to success with Quentin Dalton and Ashton Nally. Their numbers are pretty much identical. Speak to what those guys.
Local Stoner Drug accepts the majority of Medicare Part D prescription cards and can answer your questions when coverage is confusing. Stoner Drug also has a full selection of over-the-counter medications and vitamins that might be just what you're looking for. Stoner Drug offers vaccinations too, including vaccines for flu, shingles, and COVID-19 boosters. See your local Stoner Drug store today. Stoner Drug, with locations in Rockport, Missouri, Hamburg, Villisca, and Tabor, Iowa, and Auburn, Nebraska. Your full-service Medicare providers.
Looking to move to Southwest Iowa, wanting to downsize? It's a great time to move in with us. Heritage Terrace Apartments in Sidney and Valley View Villa in Tabor have units open for immediate move-in, and Malvern Village in Malvern and Forest Park Manor in Shenandoah will take your application now and notify you when living spaces become available. All 4 residential communities offer worry-free living with rent and utilities combined into one easy payment based on your income. For an application, contact us today at 866-228-6257.
Can be complicated, but not with Wellmark. Call me, Doug Astrup in Sydney at 712-374-2620 to make choosing the right Medicare plan easy. I am available anytime to answer all your questions, walk you through the process, and make sure you're getting a plan to meet your needs so you can find coverage confidence.
Doug Astrup is a local authorized independent agent for Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa. To be eligible, you must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare Supplement insurance plans are not affiliated with any government agency. Products available at Farm Bureau Financial Services.
High school juniors and seniors, don't miss the Next Gen Tech Expo, November 8th in Council Bluffs. Hosted by AgriVision Equipment and Prairieland Partners, this is your chance to show off your skills and compete for a chance to win prizes and a spot in the 2026 We Lead Technician Institute. Earn paid tuition, tools, housing, benefits, and a paycheck. Register now at agrivisionequipment.com.
Northwest Missouri State University, you can follow your interests and discover new ones, no matter how different they may be. Explore over 200 programs and over 150 student organizations. At Northwest, you can be a scholar, an artist, an athlete, and a leader, all at the same time. Why be just one thing when you can be every you? Learn more at start.nwmissouri.edu.
Nutrien Ag Solutions takes the responsibility of growing seriously. As a leader in the ag sector, they provide their customers with complete agriculture solutions, including nutrients, crop protection products, seed, service, and digital tools for optimum customer success. Talk with Nutrien Ag Solutions in Westboro, Coyne, Percival, and Essex. Nutrien Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
No one succeeds alone. It takes support to get there, sacrifices made by others, wisdom learned and passed on. When your business is agriculture, you dedicate your life to supporting community, doing the hard work that helps all of us thrive. It's why at PCSB, we believe in supporting you. Your success makes our community succeed. PCSB, we believe in you. Visit us online at wearepcsb.com. Member FDIC.
Terrace apartments in Sydney and Valley View Villa and Tabor are getting a facelift. These units are being remodeled and ready for new move-ins. Now is a great time to get settled in before the upcoming winter months, and these units are convenient and worry-free. All utilities are included in your rent, and rent is based on your income. Several apartments are available for immediate move-in. Heritage Terrace in Sydney and Valley View Villa and Tabor are both located in quiet residential areas and offer the best in Southwest Iowa living. For an application, contact us today at 866-228-6257.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to Bedford. Happy Halloween, and we've got a treat for you tonight. 8-player second-round postseason action between Bedford and Fremont-Mills. Trevor Mader alongside Tom Peterson. Tom, when the season starts, every team wants to get in the playoffs, and you want to win a game. You want to be one of the final 16 because it's the next step on the road to the Dome. And I think we could be in store for a fun one here tonight between two teams that have aspirations of keeping their season alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had the opportunity to watch both teams on film, and after visiting with both of the coaches, you know, they both some of their keys that they're looking at their interior linemen on both sides of the football. So, you know, I'm just excited for what you said. I think might be the best 8-man matchup across the state tonight. I
believe in terms of the BC Moorlines, if you're into that kind of thing, it was the closest. And Tom, I know you've been out of the coaching world in football for a couple of years, but you had some run-ins with these programs over the years, and while the names and faces look different, I'd imagine the styles and what you'll see tonight from Bedford under Coach Nally and Fremont-Mills under Coach Greg Ernster, that doesn't change.
No, and, you know, when you look at Bedford, they're going to try to run the ball and establish things up front. You know, coming into the game, they're averaging less than 5 pass attempts a game, and then you've got Fremont-Mills on the opposite side. Coach Ernster has been there with Jeremy Christensen when Jeremy was back there for a lot of years. They do a lot of the so a couple of very talented football teams that we get a chance to see here tonight.
Winner of this will get either Woodbine or Southeast Warren a state quarterfinal next Thursday. Fremont-Mills will receive to get things going. The Knights 7-2 on the year under head coach Greg Ernster. As Tom mentioned, longtime assistant, took over the program a couple of years ago, and they have continued winning. This is their 16th consecutive playoff appearance. Case Coleman will kick it away for Bedford. Here in this Class A players second round matchup. A matchup that all year I wondered, man, it'd be cool if these two teams played each other. Well, here we are as Coleman steps up to the ball and kicks it away, and we are off and running. And that will be fielded by Carter Rycroft at around the 1-yard line. Rycroft up to the 20, 25. Actually, Sam Sanchez 30. Puts a move on and brought down to around 32. Ball came out near the Bedford sideline. Bedford feels like they have it, and they do. Bedford recovers the fumble to start, and the first big play goes Bedford's way, Tom.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when I talked to Coach Ernster that he said they just can't turn the ball over and put themselves in this type of situation. You know, the kicker from Bedford, to me, is key. He's got 70 touchbacks on the year, you know, so field position, I think, will be very essential.
So Bedford will now start with the ball on the Fremont-Mills 31-yard line after recovering the fumble. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Quentin Dalton, their quarterback. Ashton Nally on the left hip of him in the shotgun. They'll move him a little bit closer. Direct snap, Nally fakes right, goes left side, tries to follow his blocks, gets up around the 30, inside the 30, the 29-yard line. A gain a couple, and Tom, for Bedford, they'll gladly take 2 or 3 yards a chunk on first down all night.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're going to continue to pound the ball up front. When you've got Lucas Minor up there, Zach Foote, and Gabe Gray up there, you know, combined averaging about 240 across the interior line. So this is something they're going to do all night long.
So second down and 8 now, coming up for Bedford at the Fremont-Mills 29-yard line. Again, Dalton, their quarterback, Nally in the backfield, a 1-2 punch. They'll run right side, Dalton. Dalton bounces at 25 and lunges towards the first down on the far side. I think he was just a bit shy, but it'll set up, if that is the case, it'll set up a 3rd and short. Sam Sanchez made the tackle, and they will move the chains, actually. So they give him the first down. And Bedford, you know, Tom, 2 rushing plays. They've netted 10 yards on those.
Hey, pretty electric. When you look at what Quentin Dalton has done this year, you know, he's got 21 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. What's more impressive is 11.4 yards per play.
First and 10 now for Bedford from the Fremont-Mills 21-yard line. Dalton will hand off Nally. Nally forward to about the 16-yard line. And a gain of 5 will make it 2nd and 5. And, Tom, early on, you mentioned that the trench play is going to be big. What are you seeing right now?
Well, just kind of what you said. I'm looking at Lucas Minor. I know he's just a freshman, but what he's doing, he's getting into that second level along with Gabe Gray. And when they're doing that, it's going to put that second level on their heels. And so for Fremont-Mills to be successful, they're going to need JW number 11 to obviously have a big night.
This is the Fremont-Mills team that leads the state in sacks. That might not necessarily translate tonight because Bedford doesn't throw the ball up. That means their defense is winning a lot of those one-on-one matchups. 2nd and 5 for Bedford from the Fremont-Mills 16. They'll put John Deemer in motion across the formation. Dalton running left side, cuts up, goes nowhere. J.W. Lincoln Hoker got to him in the backfield. And a loss of 1 will make 3rd and long coming up for Bedford.
Absolutely. Good penetration there by the interior. Number 8, Mason Reed. He caused a little bit of havoc there, pushing them back just a little bit for J.W. to make the play.
3rd and 7 coming up for Bedford on the Fremont-Mills 18-yard line as they try to capitalize on the opening kick fumble. 9:30 to go here in the first quarter. Nally with Dalton back there is with him. Dalton will take the snap, running right side, lead blocking Nally, and Dalton couldn't get downhill. Gets a couple of yards, but a 3rd down stop by Fremont-Mills, and now it's 4th down coming up for Bedford. And an interesting spot for them with 4th and 6 coming up.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that Coach Ernster said is making sure that they're rotating 5 and 6 guys up front. They haven't done that yet, but he thought that would come into play maybe in the 3rd and 4th quarter. But right now, the penetration with the defensive front is causing Bedford just a little bit of trouble.
So 4th and 6, Bedford going to go for it. Thought maybe this would be fringe Case Coleman field goal territory, but they're going to go for it. 4th and 6. On the Fremont-Mills 17-yard line. Dalton with Nally on his right hip in the shotgun will look over to the Bedford sideline. And the play clock hits zeros, and that should be a delay of game if they didn't call a timeout, and I don't think they did.
Right.
So that'll back them up 5, and I think now they will come to the sideline. Dalton will converse with Bedford head coach Jeremy Nally. As now it's a 4th and 11 coming up. So if this was field goal territory, it would be a 39-yard field goal, but they are lining up
I did see
like they will go for it.
Did he have a 46-yarder, I think, this year
yes.
is what I had seen. So definitely within range, but it's early on. And
I know he was hitting from 40 in warm-up, so they're going to go for it. 4th and 11 from the 22. Dalton back to pass. Pressure coming. Stepping up. Throws downfield. It is incomplete. Sam Sanchez got a couple of hands on it. That actually might have been good for Fremont-Mills that he didn't catch it. They were trying to go to Kason Churchill at the goal line, but a stand for the Fremont-Mills defense, and Tom, the turnover doesn't burn them there.
No, and, you know, he had some room to run there, so I think that's something they'll probably look at next time they have the ball.
So a turnover on downs gives it to Fremont-Mills. And now the Knights offense, a very balanced Fremont-Mills offense, will go to work. Sawyer Forney is their quarterback. Jonathan Ekpai, Paxton Campbell, Carter Rycroft. Among the fellas that will be in the backfield with them tonight. They bunch everybody in. Shotgun look. Forney will hand it off. Jonathan Ekpai. Ekpai for a couple of yards to the 24-yard line. A gain of 2. And Tom, this is a Fremont-Mills offense. I mentioned very versatile. Coach Greg Ernster is kind of a physical ground-and-pound guy, but they've been able to throw the football with success this year.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at what Sawyer Forney has done this year, he's definitely a dual-threat quarterback. He's thrown 19 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions, so obviously he can do things through the air, but he can also use his feet.
So now a 2nd and 8 coming up for Bedford, or for Fremont-Mills on the FM 24-yard line. Here's a run. Ekpai makes a tackle in the backfield up to the 32-yard line. Close to a first down. Actually, they'll give him the 33, it looks like, and it will be a first down. A gain of 9. Jonathan Ekpai back for Fremont-Mills that was injured in the early part of the season. Got some touches early on last week in a dominant win over St. Edmund. Gets a gain of 9 there. So now a first down for Fremont-Mills on the FM 33-yard line. There's a run. Ekpai bouncing it left side up past the 36, breaking out of ankle tackles and falling forward to the 40-yard line. And, Tom, I'm sure you can attest in your years of playing against Fremont-Mills teams, they usually have a running back that's hard to bring down.
Absolutely. And then when you see what they're doing right now, they're getting to the second level. One of the keys that Coach Ernster had told me is they wanted to make sure that they got to the middle linebacker, Adam Swanee, to get to him. And if they did that, they felt pretty good about their guys up front.
2nd and 3 now for Fremont-Mills from the 40-yard line. 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter of a scoreless tie. Forney will put it in the belly of Nash Moreland. He's upfield, 30, trying to break out of a tackle, gets drugged down at the 27-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle made by Nolan Drake in the Bedford secondary, but Fremont-Mills a 13-yard gain, and they're running the football with success early on, Tom.
Very impressed with what they're doing up front, and then also give credit to the guys that are on the end there. They move Mason Reed back and forth. He kind of leads as to where the play might be going. It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to stop it.
Yeah, we've got somebody like Mason Reed paving the way as well. 1st and 10 coming up for Fremont-Mills from the Bedford 27-yard line. 6:15 to go here in the first quarter. Moreland, the running back, on the right hip of Forney in the shotgun. They will give it Moreland again, left side, fighting for a couple of yards up north, the 25-yard line of the 24. And it's a gain of 3. And, Tom, this is a Bedford defense, by the way, on the other end. They've given up at least 12 total points over the last 6 games.
Yeah, and right now, just, and watching that's just a counterplay with a read option that gives Sawyer the opportunity to do things. And so they're going to have to make sure that they stay disciplined on the defensive side. And like you said, they're not used to giving up too many points, but right now it's their 2nd and 3rd level making these plays.
2nd and 7 now for Fremont-Mills. After the gain of 3, they've got the ball on the Bedford 24-yard line. Forney with a running back on his left hip will work out of the shotgun. They run it right side. Moreland gets tackled for a loss. John Deemer made the initial contact. Case Coleman and company come there to clean things up, and the first negative offensive play of the night for Fremont-Mills comes on 2nd down. It brings up 3rd and long.
Great penetration there once again from the defensive front. Like you said, I believe it was Deemer. A little bit of miscommunication up front for Fremont-Mills, but brings up 3rd and 10. It'll be interesting to see here.
3rd down coming up from the 27-yard line. This is an FM offense not afraid to air it out a little bit, have yet to throw a pass, and this might be one of those times where they go to the air. Forney will have Moreland with them in the shotgun. Rycroft on the right side, Mason Reed on the left. Forney back to pass, scrambling right, pressure coming, flag comes in. Forney will tuck in and run. He stepped out of bounds on the Bedford side. We've also got a flag at around the 33-yard line. And if that is a penalty on Fremont-Mills, it'd be an interesting spot for Bedford if they want to decline it and make it 4th down or move them back. And I think Coach Nally's saying we'll move them back.
When looking at their offense, Trevor, they've got 4 different guys with at least 9 receptions and 2+ touchdowns, so he's got some guys that he can throw the football to out there. And especially, you look at Mason Reed that's out there. It's a tough matchup if you're guarding him man-to-man, but that's what they're doing. They're putting him on an island out there, and give credit to Bedford. Great penetration once again up front.
It creates a hold, and they do take the penalty. 3rd and 20 now coming up for Fremont-Mills from the 37-yard line. 4:42 to go here in the first quarter. No score. Forney will have Ekpai behind him, a pistol with the running back on his right hip. Forney takes the snap, and I don't know if there's miscommunication, if that was designed. He runs forward for a couple, almost like it was supposed to be a read option, and the running back didn't have the read. He ran to the right side, and Forney just had to tuck in and run for a couple yards.
Yeah, it's going to put them in 4th and long. It's going to be a tough situation for them here. Be interesting to see what they do. I think I would look at maybe punting the ball and try to pin them deep if possible.
And, Tom, that drive all stalled because of a holding penalty. And
yep.
I know any coach will say, what are the 2 things that will hurt you come postseason time? Turnovers and penalties.
And that's what we've seen early on. So, yep, it's hurting both.
They will punt it away with Sawyer Forney. Quentin Dalton back to return. He will step away from it, and it is down by Sam Sanchez, but I think he rolled into the end zone. He did, and it's a touchback. That was almost a really, really heady punt and recovery of the punt by Fremont-Mills, but they couldn't quite keep it in play. And now Bedford will start this next drive on their own 15-yard line. 4:01 to go here in the first quarter. And, Tom, now that we've seen each team have the ball one time and move the ball a little bit but stall out, what do you feel we've learned?
Well, I think you're getting kind of some of the nerves maybe out from both groups. You had a turnover early on, like you had said, with Fremont-Mills, and then Bedford went backwards on a couple of plays. And so I think just getting a feel for each other, both talented football teams, number 9 versus number 10 in state. So great atmosphere, great game so far. 1st and
10 for Bedford from their own 15. They'll run it Nally. Nally carrying a defender a couple of yards up to the 24-yard line. He drug Blake Schaff a handful of yards. He feels like he wasn't down, but they call him down. And they'll say it was a gain of 10 and moving the chains.
And he's just such an impressive athlete. He's got also 21 touchdowns on the year, and he also averages 10.2 yards per carry. That's just crazy, but very talented kid back there.
Very, very big part of their defense as well over the last couple of years, and has seen an increased workload on the offensive side this year. 1st and 10 for Bedford from the 25-yard line. Dalton with Nally on his right hip in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left. Dalton, quarterback run, trying to bounce it right side. Gets up to the 30 before being brought down. And a first and manageable, or makes it a first down run, makes a second manageable. For the Bedford offense, it'll be 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and they just want to try to make sure that they limit, like when I talked to Greg a little bit before, they don't want to let him get to the outside in Quentin Dalton. And right now they're doing a good job of everybody rallying to the football.
Yeah, Coach Greg Ernster had really high praise for Quentin Dalton, gave him the Lane Speaker comparison when I talked to him this week. 2nd and 5 coming up for Bedford from the 30-yard line. We'll go split back look. They put it in the belly of the running back left side, cutting it upfield. John Deemer gets stood up a couple yards shy of the first down. A flag comes in from one of the side officials as well. So we'll have to check that marker and see what it is.
Came in a little late.
Mm-hmm. Bedford is walking back like they think it is on them, and it is. And what could have been a 3rd and short is now going to be a 2nd and long after the hold on Bedford. So you walk it back from the 31-yard line to the 21.
And I don't think that this is where Bedford wants to be in 2nd and long situations, or, just, you already mentioned it earlier, those penalties right now are just kind of, they're hurting them a little bit here, and so it kind of changes their offensive play calling.
2nd and 14 coming up for Bedford from the 21-yard line. 2:20 to go in a fast-moving first quarter. Dalton with Nally on his right hip. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And they will put it in the belly of Nally, and he slipped. He was about to burst between 2 defenders, had a little bit of a crease.
Yes, he did.
I don't know if he tripped over a foot or what, but he only gets about a yard out of that. And it's 3rd and long, and if 2nd and long isn't where Bedford wants to be, 3rd and long is definitely not where they want to be.
No, just not one of their strengths, but, they do have the athletes here. But it'll be a tough call, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is a Bedford offense. They don't throw it a lot. They have been relatively efficient when they have thrown it this year. I know in talking to Coach Nally, that's been an area they've tried to grow their game in this year. 3rd and 13 from the 22. Dalton out of a shotgun. Quarterback run. Gets a couple yards to 25. Still on his feet. They bounce him outside, and he gets stopped. And Gavin Crom among those that came in there for the tackle.
That's
and again,
just
Tom,
outstanding. Rallying to the football, Trevor. Mm-hmm. That's great team defense right there.
And again, we're seeing them make him go, kind of get him outside and not give him angles outside.
Absolutely. Great containment, great discipline right now by Fremont-Mills.
So after a gain of 3, it is 4th and 10 coming up for Bedford from the 25-yard line. A minute to go here in the first quarter. The punt is blocked. Carter Rycroft blocked the Case Coleman punt. It'll carry him out of bounds inside the 20. FM almost blocked one last week in their win over St. Edmund. That time, Carter Rycroft got through untouched, and he blocks the punt, and Fremont-Mills is going to take over with good field position.
Special teams, it's something we talked about earlier. Just a great play going up through the middle there. It almost looked like they had two guys that could have got it.
So now Fremont-Mills will start on the Bedford 16-yard line. 58 seconds to go here in the first quarter of a 0-0 tie. Forney will have Ekpai on his right hip. Play fake. Forney looking downfield, scrambling right. Throws to Mason Reed, who hauled it in. Was he inbounds? No, he was not. He was double-teamed by Bedford. Forney put it where only Reed could get it, but Reed couldn't get a foot in bounds.
Wow, that was a great throw there. It kind of looked like maybe he drug it, but obviously they got a better view from where I'm at. No, great play there.
So incomplete pass makes it 2nd and 10 from the 16-yard line. So far we've seen a special teams miscue on both sides. Fremont-Mills had the fumble on the kick return. Bedford had a blocked punt. Bedford couldn't capitalize on FM's miscue. Now Fremont-Mills trying to get on the board first. Forney will have Ekpai back there with them out of a shotgun. Down to 3 on the play clock. Forney takes the snap, hands off Ekpai, cuts up the middle, breaking out of tackles inside the 10, inside the 5, just about broke all the way free. He'll get down to the 4. And FM doing a good job running between the tackles.
Absolutely. What a tough run there by the running back. Very impressed. I think you had said maybe he got injured earlier this season, so I haven't had an opportunity to see him too much on film. But and when I talked to Coach Ernster, he didn't know it'd be a game-time decision with him, and obviously having him there to run through the trenches is paying off.
Down to the 4-yard line. So we get to 20 seconds to go here in the quarter. There's about a 5-second difference between the play clock and the game clock, so this will be likely the final play of the quarter. Forney with Ekpai behind him. He'll put it in the belly of Ekpai. He gets to the 2-yard line before being stood up. And that looks to be how the quarter will end. So a fun first quarter. We've got a 0-0 stalemate as we go to the second here in Bedford. Class 8 player action. KMA Extreme, KMAland.com.
Local Stoner Drug accepts the majority of Medicare Part D prescription cards and can answer your questions when coverage is confusing. Stoner Drug also has a full selection of over-the-counter medications and vitamins that might be just what you're looking for. Stoner Drug offers vaccinations too, including vaccines for flu, shingles, and COVID-19 boosters. See your local Stoner Drug store today. Stoner Drug, with locations in Rockport, Missouri, Hamburg, Villisca, and Tabor, Iowa, and Auburn, Nebraska. Your full-service Medicare providers.
Can be complicated, but not with Wellmark. Call me, Doug Astrop in Sydney at 712-374-2620 to make choosing the right Medicare plan easy. I am available anytime to answer all your questions, walk you through the process, and make sure you're getting a plan to meet your needs so you can find coverage confidence.
Doug Astrop is a local authorized independent agent for Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa. To be eligible, you must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare Supplement insurance plans are not affiliated with any government agency. Products available at Farm Bureau Financial Services.
To the second quarter we go here in Bedford tonight. No score. This Class 8 players' second-round matchup of Fremont-Mills knocking on the door. They've got a 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line, trying to turn a blocked punt into points for our first ones of the night. And Tom Peterson, 12 minutes in, what do we learn?
Well, I just think both teams are being extremely physical up front. You know, anytime that they've had penetration, they've made plays, you know, obviously on the defensive side. But, you know, to me, just offensively wise, I think, you know, mix it up here a little bit more. And I think good things will probably happen for Fremont.
2nd and goal from the 2. They will run it. Ekpai, and actually Forney kept it, had me fooled, and he hurls into the end zone. Touchdown, Fremont-Mills. You know it's a good play fake when it fakes out the play-by-play guy. And Forney goes airborne for the touchdown, and the Knights are on the board first.
That was a great RPO right there. He held it. The defensive end collapsed toward the running back, and he just kept it around the end and dove into the end zone. Great play.
So Sawyer Forney, who, you know, they don't ask him to do a lot with his legs, but it's not that he can't. I believe that's only his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. And now they will go for 2. First play of the second quarter is pay dirt for Fremont-Mills. Forney with Ekpai on his right hip. They will play fake. Forney had a man wide open to the flat, J.W. Lincoln Hoker, but he overthrew him. Nonetheless, Fremont-Mills on the board first on a touchdown run by Sawyer Forney. 6-0 advantage Knights. KMA Extreme.
High school juniors and seniors, don't miss the Next Gen Tech Expo, November 8th in Council Bluffs. Hosted by Agrivision Equipment and Prairieland Partners, this is your chance to show off your skills and compete for a chance to win prizes and a spot in the 2026 We Lead Technician Institute. Earn paid tuition, tools, housing, benefits, and a paycheck. Register now at agrivisionequipment.com.
Welcome back to Bedford KMA Extreme. On KMAland.com, Trevor Mater, Tom Peterson with you. First points of the night go to Fremont-Mills on a rushing touchdown by Sawyer Forney. And, Tom, we see Fremont-Mills capitalize on the Bedford miscue.
Yeah, once again, just a great read by Sawyer there to take things to the outside. And, obviously, it's one of the things that Coach Nally does not want them to be able to do is to get to the outside on any of those plays. But right there, they were able to break, contain, and, obviously, a good-looking play.
So now Fremont-Mills will kick it away. Carter Rycroft will be their kicker. Quentin Dalton and Case Coleman back to return for Bedford. Rycroft's kick will be returnable. Coleman fields it at the 5-yard line. Keeps it in the middle. Gets free for a moment up to the 30. Still trying to shed a tackle, and then finally gets brought down to the 31-yard line, and that'll be where Bedford's offense goes to work for their third drive of the night.
A lot of times, Trevor, you want to give some of your guys a rest on the special teams, but, if you look out there for their kickoff receive, Bedford has a lot of their guys that are still on the field. Right. And I think, it just pays dividend to do that, especially at this time of the year.
And definitely, at this level, you coach at this level for a long, long time. You know that usually that's just the way it's got to be.
Yep.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Low Rent Properties, Doug Astrup, your Fremont County Farm Bureau agent in Sydney, Agrivision Equipment Group, and Stoner Drug. 1st and 10 for Bedford from their own 32-yard line. They try to answer the Fremont-Mills score. Dalton, quarterback run, right side. Bounces it towards the sideline. He's past midfield and brought out of bounds in Fremont-Mills territory at the 34-yard line. That time Dalton gets to the edge and had a little separation, and it will be a gain of 14.
Yeah, one of the few times he's been able to get to the outside. Great block on the interior, getting to the next level by number 75 there, Gabe Gray.
1st and 10 for Bedford from the Fremont-Mills 33-yard line. 11:25 to go here in the first half. Nally will be the running back on the right hip of Dalton in the shotgun. Quarterback run, right side, Dalton spins out of a tackle, wanted to bounce it back left, but FM was there to make sure that didn't happen. Gets maybe a yard or so. And it's 2nd and 9. And Tom, I know you coached against a lot of really, really good athletes, whether that be, Lane Speaker, Skylar Schultes, just to name a few.
Yep.
If you were going against a dynamic quarterback like Quentin Dalton, how would you try to defend him?
Well, just kind of exactly what Coach Ernster said. You got to keep him inside because once he gets to the outside, it's going to be trouble with his speed. And then obviously you got to make sure that you have multiple people flying to the football. Currently, Fremont-Mills has been doing that, so they've held him pretty much in check so far.
2nd and 9 coming up for Bedford from the 32-yard line. Dalton will hand it off Nally. Nally got nowhere. Again, the FM interior wins that battle. Ends up being a loss of 1.
On the season, those front 3 guys in Mason Reed, Gavin Crom, and then Blake Schaffer-Schaaf, they have 31 tackles for loss and 18.5 sacks. And right now, they're getting the job done up front because it puts Bedford into a 3rd and long situation once again.
Like I said, this is a team that they lead the state in sacks. And when you're going against a team like Bedford, that doesn't really maybe mean anything per se, but it means you're winning your one-on-one battles, and that does mean something.
Absolutely.
3rd and 10 now for Bedford from the Fremont-Mills 33-yard line. Dalton with Nally on his right hip in the shotgun. They will run right side. Dalton again trying to get outside to the 30, maybe up to the 29-yard line before being brought down. And actually, they're going to give him, I don't know if it's going to be that good of a spot. It's going to be the 30-yard line. And a 4th and 6 coming up for this Bedford offense.
Really attacking the short side of the field here early on. So, Bedford's offensive right side against Fremont-Mills' left side is they must have seen something maybe there on film that they're able to exploit.
So now 4th and 6. We'll see what Coach Jeremy Nally draws up here. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down tonight. Dalton will have Ashton Nally on his left hip. They're down to 7 on the play clock. They were not ready. I think they had an extra guy on the field.
Good timeout there.
So they call their first timeout of the half with 9:08 to go here in the first half. And Tom, put on your play calling hat here What are you drawing up?
Well, I think you got to figure out ways to get Ashton Nally the football. I don't think he's had as many touches right now as what I would want him to have. He's too good of a football player, and obviously I know that Jeremy knows that as well. So maybe trying to get him out in space right here would be something I would try. They haven't completed a lot of passes this year, but with the ones they have, he does have half of their receptions. So you got to just figure out some ways to get him some touches.
Thinking like a wheel route or something?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And it's only fourth, and as dynamic as he is, it's only 4th and 7 or 4th and 8. If he catches a 5-yard pass, he can turn that into something special in a hurry.
So 4th and 7 coming up for Bedford from the Fremont-Mills 30-yard line. 6-0 advantage Fremont-Mills. The Knights fumbled the opening kick. They bowed their neck defensively, though, and turned Bedford away. And then they end up punting, does Fremont-Mills, when they got the ball back. Well, Bedford, they have the drive stall out. Fremont-Mills blocks the punt, gives FM a short field, and that's how they got on the board with a Sawyer 40 touchdown run. So here we go, 4th and 7 from the 30 coming up for Bedford. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Dalton will have Nally to his left in a shotgun. Back to passes, Dalton. Quick pass, caught. Coleman fights for the first down, carries the defender inside the 20, still fighting, and is finally brought down to the 15. And Tom, you mentioned really, really good play call there.
Yeah, getting the ball out to the side, out on the edges. A lot of room there. The defensive back was giving him that, just went right to the chains with a quick curl route, got him the football in timing. Just a great play call.
Gain of 15 moves the chains for Bedford to the Fremont-Mills 15-yard line. Under 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Bedford breaks the huddle with 15 on the play clock. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Again, they work out of a lot of shotgun these days.
Yep.
Dalton, quarterback run, gets brought down after a gain of a couple. Mason Reed was able to make the tackle, but a gain of 4 for Dalton on first down will make it 2nd and 6.
That was a great play right there from Mason Reed. He went up the field just a little bit. Coach Ernster said that front 3, they got to make sure that they stay on a line so they don't go too far up the field, and right there was a great example of that.
So a gain of 4 will make it 2nd and 6. Bedford will huddle and break the huddle with 20 left here on the play clock. Approaching 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Been a fun first 16 thus far. Dalton again with Nally on his left in the shotgun. Snap was on the ground. Nally wisely picks it up and gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that was off the foot of the center, but it rolled back to Dalton and Nally wisely picks it up and actually gets a yard out of that, I believe.
Yeah, that was just a great athletic play for him just to make something out of nothing there. Very fortunate.
So now a 3rd and 6 coming up for Bedford from the 11-yard line. Bulldogs trying to get on the board for the first time tonight on their 3rd offensive drive of the evening. Everybody in. Dalton, Nally in the backfield. Quarterback run. Dalton goes right. Now bounces left. Has the sideline. He gets to the end zone, but there's a flag that comes in from the back judge. So hold the phone, and it's going to be a hold on Bedford to wipe a touchdown off the board.
Yeah, they got a holding call against Mason Reed out there. He was trying to make sure that he contained there. And one of the things that I saw on film, Trevor, when I watched, talking about the quarterback there and Quentin Dalton, if you over pursue to one side, and I noticed that last week, he stops and he goes back around the other way. So, you just got to make sure you maintain that containment on the outside.
Your state qualifier in track, and I don't know if you can call him a sneaky good athlete because, he's just an all-around a really good athlete.
Absolutely.
So now 3rd and 16 as the touchdown comes off the board. Bedford trying to get set with the receivers on the left side. Now Dalton will put Kason Churchill in motion. Dalton back to pass on 3rd down. Scrambling right, throws downfield. That's a man wide open. Churchill, it's caught. Touchdown, Bedford. Quentin Dalton to Kason Churchill for the score on 3rd and long, and we're tied.
Yeah, right now they're upset because they thought that there was some linemen downfield there, but I thought they did a good job of staying back where they needed to, and, great job there by the wide receiver, not staying put. Quarterback scramble. That's just a great job there.
So now Bedford will kick an extra point. They're one of the few 8-man teams that does this on a consistent basis. Case Coleman, who is 42 of 46 on those this year.
And it's huge. These extra points, just what you said, Trevor, they're one of the few that do this. And these are difference in the game.
So Coleman, there was movement on the line. It's going to depend on who they call it on, whether it's going to move it up a yard or move it back. The officials will converse.
Yeah, he has a strong leg. It's pretty impressive to watch.
And it's going to be on Bedford and back him up, it looks like. Coleman was the hero in their state semifinal. Well, it's going to be offsides actually on Fremont-Mills.
So this might change things a little bit. I guess I don't know.
If we were talking college football, NFL, level, the analytics would say in this situation you go for 2. Yep. And they're going to bring a play in from the sideline and go for 2. So a 2-point conversion from the 1.5-yard line for Bedford. Actually, no, they are going to kick. Okay, they are going to kick it.
I think this is a really good decision just to get them ahead.
Quentin Dalton is the holder, and FM jumped again.
Yep.
FM
like you
moved
said,
again.
Trevor, they might change their mind here before too long.
Yeah, much longer, and it might be on the goal line.
Yep. And it looks like they're bringing somebody in possibly to mix it up, like maybe the offense is coming back on.
Yeah, they're going to bring Swaney in, and I have to double-check and make sure I don't confuse him for one of his older brothers, but they're going to bring Adam Swaney into the backfield. And in years past, Bedford probably would have went under center, an 8-man version of the tush push. Dalton will go under center, and he will sneak it. I don't know that he got in. He didn't. They're going to say he's short.
Looked like he lost his footing maybe there a little bit.
So the 2-point conversion unsuccessful for Bedford, but they're on the board on the touchdown pass from Quentin Dalton to Kason Churchill. 6-6 our score with 7:13 left here in the half. KMA Extreme.
Northwest Missouri State University, you can follow your interests and discover new ones, no matter how different they may be. Explore over 200 programs and over 150 student organizations. At Northwest, you can be a scholar, an artist, an athlete, and a leader, all at the same time. Why be just one thing when you can be every you? Learn more at start.nwmissouri.edu.
Welcome back to Bedford KMA Extreme, online KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you. And Tom, just the answer Bedford needed, and we're tied at 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Still haven't had the opportunity to get Nally the ball maybe as much as they would like to. I do think that'll be something that they look to maybe attack or exploit here coming up a little bit later on.
So Case Coleman will kick it away. Nash Moreland among the returners back there for Fremont-Mills. And Coleman, not necessarily an automatic touchback, but a high percentage touchback. And this one will be fielded on the goal line. I think that was fielded on the goal line. Moreland returns it and gets up around the 20. They'll mark him out at the 18. So FM nets 3 yards out of that.
That's a perfect kick, though, if they're going to try to return it, because it did look like maybe he stepped back just a little bit, but...
So now Fremont-Mills will take over on their own 18-yard line. 7:07 to go in a fast-moving first half. Both teams have put a touchdown on the board.
Might see a little play-action pass here out of them, maybe on first down.
So Forney will have Ekpai in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the left. And they will run it. Ekpai up to the 25-yard line. Does a good job bouncing off of his blockers and tacklers and gets about 8 yards out of that to make it a second short.
Once again, the guys up front, they're not real big for Fremont-Mills up front, but they sure are getting the job done right now.
Yeah. Is it a surprise that Fremont-Mills has good physical linemen?
No. It seems like it's been a trademark for, like you said, 16 years in a row for the playoffs.
I think, dating back to like 2010. 2nd and 3 from the 25. They'll run Ekpai right side. He goes nowhere, still trying to move forward as John Deemer makes the tackle. They might actually give Ekpai about a yard. There'll be 3rd down coming up for Fremont-Mills at the 26-yard line.
And I just feel here pretty soon, out here, they're in a twins left formation, and they've got JW, Lincoln Hooker that's out there. I think they're going to look to get him the ball here before too long.
3rd and 2 from the 26-yard line. They'll bunch everybody in. Forney will have a running back on his left hip in the shotgun. They run Nash Moreland right side. Moreland breaking free, has the first down, hits the second level, and is brought down at around the 33-yard line. But a gain of 7 on 3rd down will make a first down. Hold on, we got a flag. at the end of that.
It's got to be nice when you can have 3 or 4 guys that are back there that can carry the football.
And they all bring kind of different elements as well.
Absolutely.
And it looks like this penalty is going to be on Bedford that'll walk the ball up into Bedford territory. Moreland's got carries tonight. Ekpai, Paxton Campbell hasn't even had a touch tonight so far. I mean, he's had a pretty stellar season. It's a face mask, by the way, on Bedford, and all of a sudden, Fremont-Mills has it at the Bedford 31-yard line.
Yeah, just kind of, shooting themselves in the foot right now with some of the penalties, and it just provides great field position here for Fremont here, just 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
So now a 1st and 10 for Fremont-Mills from the Bedford 31-yard line, 5:30 to go here in the first half. 6-6 our score. Forney. Pass, caught, Lincoln Hoker, screen out on the flat, gets a block, cuts it upfield, still on his feet. And inside the 20 to the 14, and as Tom Peterson predicted, J.W. Lincoln Hoker gets his first catch of the night.
Yeah, they had him split out a little bit wider out of that twin set. It's something, as defensive coaches, you're going to want to make sure that your assistants are noticing that.
FM picking up the tempo. They're going to go no huddle on the 14-yard line. Forney, they'll run it right side, Moreland, and he goes nowhere. Might have actually lost a yard. Do you like going up tempo there?
Well, I don't know. Just because the fact that they've been pretty consistent moving the football here as of late. But, maybe just trying to catch Bedford on their heels a little bit. But they flew to the football outstanding there and to the outside. 2nd
and 10 now coming up for Fremont-Mills from the 14-yard line. 4.5 to go here in the first half. Fremont-Mills breaks the huddle with 12 left. On the play clock, Forney will have a running back on his left hip in the shotgun. Back to passes, Forney. Throws over the right side to Sam Sanchez. Had him open, but just overthrew him a little bit. Tom, what were you seeing there?
Well, if you noticed, Mason Reed went off the field there, and I thought they might try to attack where he was at. I don't know if he needed a little breather or if he was a little bit banged up, but it's something I definitely would have, tried to notice. But obviously you see him coming back in, and he's such a force on the interior line. He leads their team in sacks, I believe, with 8.5 coming into the game. So they got to have him. But, yep, he went off. I just probably would have went toward that.
3rd and 10 now for Fremont-Mills from the 14-yard line. Shotgun look, running back on each side. Forney will run it left side up to the 10. It gets upended. Ball came out late. He gets right back on it, though. Good open field tackle made by Quentin Dalton. Good job by Forney, though, to bounce back on the football. And a gain of 4 will make it a 4th and long, 5 short 6 coming up for Fremont-Mills.
Yeah, I apologize there. He went off on the offensive side, so I didn't know if he was banged up there. And there he was a lead block, so it puts him in a manageable situation here on 4th down. So, once again, tough play call. I could see him maybe using a timeout in this situation.
That's kind of what they're acting like. There's not really any urgency to bring a play in. And they're going to, I think, call a timeout. So FM's going to think about what to do on this 4th and 6 from the 10 and a 6-6 tie. We'll take a 30-second break. Back in a moment. KMA Extreme, KMAland.com.
Pharmacy is dedicated to providing you and your family quality medications, medical equipment, outstanding service, and individualized customer care. Rogers Pharmacy has a large selection of durable medical products, from walkers, hospital beds, electric scooters, crutches and braces, to lift chairs, diabetic supplies, and everything related to respiratory conditions. And they offer delivery of your medical equipment in a 50-mile radius of their Missouri locations, including service to parts of Iowa and Nebraska. Rogers Pharmacy, your full-service pharmacy in Tarkio, Maryville, Mound City, St. Joe, and Stanberry.
A big 4th down coming up for Fremont-Mills on the Bedford 10-yard line. 3:35 to go here in the first half. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you. Class A player, second-round action. Tom, again, put on your coaching cap. It's 4th and 6 on the 10. What are you drawing up here?
Well, I'm still going to try to get JW number 11 the football. I really am. You look at the cushion that Bedford's giving him when he's lined up out to the outside. It looks like they're in a cover 2 a little bit, so it's going to leave some open spots for Fremont-Mills to attack. But I'm going to try to get him the ball. But like I said before, they've got multiple people that can do some damage on the offensive side.
Are you rolling Forney out here?
I definitely would. That way, he's a dual threat quarterback. It gives him an opportunity to do either one.
So 4th and 6 for Fremont-Mills from the Bedford 10-yard line. Forney with Ekpai on his hip and a shotgun movement up front. Of course, anytime there's movement, there's finger pointing on both sides, and it's going to be offsides on Bedford, and what was a 4th and 6 becomes a 4th and 1. And that to say that is huge is a little bit of an understatement.
Yeah, that's something you just got to make sure that you reiterate consistently with all the guys. It happens. They're 14 to 18 years old kids.
Right.
They're going to make mistakes. So I'm sure that Lucas Minor isn't real happy right now, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him make a play on this one right here.
So 4th and 1 for Fremont-Mills from the 5-yard line now after the offsides penalty. Forney will hand off Ekpai. Ekpai gets the first down, bounces off a tackler, and he reaches for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Fremont-Mills. Jonathan Ekpai running through contact and finding pay dirt.
They got to be really happy that he's back. It looks like almost at 100%, Trevor, because he's really running downhill really hard.
It was the 6th rushing touchdown of the year for Ekpai. Yeah, he had a shoulder injury earlier in the year, did not play when they played Woodbine. As now they'll go for 2, and they had kind of I don't know if freak is the right word, but an incident in a PE class that kept him out.
Oh, gotcha.
Required, I believe, dental surgery, but he played last week against St. Edmund.
Okay.
He gets the touchdown. It's 12-6. Advantage Fremont-Mills. Forney, quarterback run on the 2-point conversion, doesn't get it. He gets stood up. Nolan Drake was in there on the tackle, but Fremont-Mills scores on 4th and short with a touchdown run by Jonathan Ekpai. 12-6 Knights. Back in a moment. KMA Extreme.
Ready to grow your future with a bank that truly cares? Welcome to Malvern Bank, where we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your partners in success. At Malvern Bank, we specialize in ag loans that help our local farmers thrive. Whether you're planting seeds for the future or expanding your current operations, we've got the financing solutions to help your farm flourish. So why wait? Visit us today and see how Malvern Bank can make a difference in your life. Together, let's grow our future. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Jonathan Ekpai scores on 4th and short from the 5, and Fremont-Mills regains the lead at 12-6 with 3:30 to go here in the first half of this Class 8-player second-round matchup. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you here tonight. And Tom, good answer by Fremont-Mills.
Yeah, just once again, staying the course, running the football. I've been really impressed with Ekpai with the way he's running the football tonight. Why go away from it when it's working like it is?
Quentin Dalton will return this kick at the 9-yard line on the right side. Dalton up to the 30, still on his feet, and wrestled down at around the 38-yard line. And now Bedford's offense will go to work. And Tom, we've seen Bedford's offense do some promising things. The one thing that set them back is penalties.
Yeah, and hopefully he's not injured here. Quentin Dalton looks like he's down.
He does spring up and I think ready to take the play, although I believe he will have to come out for a play because they had to stop play for him. But
yeah, just the way that Fremont-Mills right now, I would say that they're controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. The only thing is that the field position from special teams on kickoffs obviously is favoring Bedford here. They're almost out to midfield, so this is something you got to try to capitalize on because they get the ball to start the second half.
That's a very, very good observation as Bedford will take over 1st and 10 on their own 38. They'll snap it to Nally, who takes the snap with Dalton out. Nally fighting for a yard or two and brought down to the 39-yard line. So a gain of 1 on the Ashton Nally run. We'll make it 2nd and 9. And it looks like Dalton going to come back in.
Yeah, I would try to, I would still try to get Nally the ball in some space, maybe out of that slot position. Everything so far with him has been going up the middle and, give Fremont-Mills a lot of credit. They're extremely physical up front.
So now a 2nd and 8 coming up for Bedford from midfield. Dalton back in the game, takes the snap, play fake, rolls left side, wants to run. Dalton has all kinds of room. 20, tripped up inside the 20 at the 18-yard line, but they let Quentin Dalton get to the boundary, and it's a big gain for Bedford to move the chains.
Yeah, just using his speed, getting to the outside there, Trevor. They had a counter coming back to the right. All he did is read the defensive end and kept the ball. Just a great read on his part.
Gain of 24 to the Fremont-Mills 17-yard line. 2.5 to go here in the half. And as Tom pointed out, Bedford will get the football to start the second half. So a chance to maybe double dip for the Bulldogs. Dalton will have Nally on his right hip in the shotgun. Dalton hands it off Nally. Nally inside the 15 to about the 10-yard line. And maybe they try to get him going a little bit here.
Yeah, I know I definitely would, especially if Dalton's banged up a little bit. This is a great opportunity just to give him a little bit of rest and give Nally some reps, especially as athletic as what he is.
Gain of 7 makes it 2nd and 3. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Bedford taking their time in the huddle. It's John Deemer bringing the play in from the sideline. He doesn't even get to the huddle until about 13 left on the play clock. Bedford does have 2 timeouts as well. They're, I think, maybe a little later than they'd like. They have to rush up to the line of scrimmage. 4, 3, 2. They do get it off in time. Quarterback run right side, Dalton. Dalton cuts up inside the 5. Near the goal line. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Bedford.
Yeah, what a great job there. You could see number 75, Gabe Gray, got downfield. He was 9-10 yards downfield making a block, and obviously Nally led him all the way into the end zone. Just a great play there.
So Bedford answers the Fremont-Mills answer of the Bedford answer, and we are tied at 12 on the touchdown run by Quentin Dalton. And let's see if the Bulldogs kick the extra point or if they go for 2. They will kick the extra point with Case Coleman. Again, they were going to do that on their first touchdown. Back-to-back offsides penalties made them decide they want to go for 2, and they didn't get it. Now they'll kick. High snap. Dalton ends up just having to throw it for 2, and a man wide open, Hayden Rydell. And Bedford cashes in on the 2-point play, and it's an 8-point possession for the Bulldogs. And Tom, right now we're seeing both teams just kind of rise to the occasion.
Absolutely. Great play call there. You know, that was obviously designed because he stood right up and nobody went with number 80, Hayden Rydell, out there to the side. So just both teams battling right here. It'll be an interesting 1:20 to go here in the half.
Yeah, so your Fremont-Mills, you've got 2 timeouts. You've got a little bit of a passing attack. How are you approaching this final 80 seconds?
To me it's going to depend on where they're at coming out of the gates here. You know, if it's a touchback, see what you can do on first down. I still like getting JW the football out in space. You know, they've done it once tonight. I think it was a gain of about 13 or 14. You know, if you can move the chains once or twice, Trevor, I think it opens up other things for you.
So 14-12 after the successful 2-point conversion. It felt like, I don't know if that was designed. It was a high snap to Dalton.
Maybe they yelled fire.
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely.
Either way, it's a 2-point conversion that cashes in, and now Bedford will kick it away with Case Coleman. And winner of this will move on and face either Woodbine or Southeast Warren in a state quarterfinal. We'll try to get you a score update on that one here in a moment as Case Coleman kicks it away. And this one is no doubt into the end zone for a touchback.
And I just think that's huge, having a kid that can do that, especially, an 8-man football, when you can get up into the end zone. You got to start at your own 15. It really, as an offensive play caller, it does change some of the things you got to do.
So now Fremont-Mills will start this next drive on their own 15-yard line. They have 2 timeouts, 1:20 left in the first half of this one. See how they try to attack this, knowing that Bedford will get the football to start the second half. Forney.
They didn't have enough guys out here. That was a great timeout. They didn't have enough people over here for trips out here to the left.
Yeah, and the FM coaching staff behind us, they were noticing they wanted them to go, and Bedford picked up on it and realized they did not have the guys they desired out there, and it's a timeout taken by Bedford. And once again, it'll be a 1st and 10 coming up for Fremont. By the way, Woodbine is on top of Southeast Warren 30-0. Winner of that will meet the winner of this. Also, an 8-player action tonight, Audubon. They are doing, looks like, about whatever they want. They're up 54-0 on Montezuma.
That was a great timeout there by Coach Nally, because that could have been trouble, right away, obviously, with 1:20 to go and a couple of timeouts. So great recognition there by the staff from Bedford.
So now with 80 seconds to go in the half, FM's got 65 yards in front of them and 2 timeouts. Bedford with 1 if they need it. We'll see what Coach Greg Ernster draws up on this first down. We were scoreless going into the second quarter in a 26-point second frame thus far between the two teams. Forney out of a shotgun, back to pass. Forney wanting to throw, scrambling right, all kinds of time, throws across his body. It was almost intercepted. Dalton read that really well and just about got the pick. It's incomplete and second down.
Yeah, he had J.W. wide open with the dig route coming across the middle. He just didn't see him right away, and then once he paused with that, it allowed for Dalton just to kind of cut that off.
So 2nd and 10 now for Fremont-Mills from the 15. 1:12 to go here in the first half. Forney with Ekpai back there with them in the shotgun. And they will run at Ekpai. See if it pops here. Ekpai gets up near the first down to the 23. He'll be about a yard shy of the first down. It's a third down coming up for Fremont-Mills. 3rd and about 2 as we get under a minute to go here in the half.
Yeah, it looked like they just shifted a little bit of defensive players in. More of a prevent on that last play. A great open field tackle there by Nolan Drake. But now they got the bigs back in on 3rd and short.
45 seconds to go in the half and the clock running. Forney takes the snap, hands off Moreland, kind of a late handoff. Moreland trying to fight for the first down. He's going to be close. The pile's still going. Defenders leaping in. And when it's all said and done, Nash Moreland gets the first down. He had to carry the pile a couple of yards to make that happen. It's a first down for Fremont-Mills. And the clock will stop so they can move the chains, and they go no huddle. Forney back to pass. Takes a shot downfield. Lincoln Hoker. Jump ball. Fought for between him and Dalton. I believe Dalton came up with it.
This will be an interesting call because a lot of times it'll go to the offense, but
I think Dalton, they're still discussing it. Usually they say tie favors the offense. They're conversing. If it's a tie, it favors the offense, and that's the case.
Yep.
J.W. Lincoln Hoker ends up with the big catch. 15 seconds to go. Fremont-Mills trying to hurry. And they're going to call timeout. Kind of a wild end to this first half.
He had him open early on there, Trevor. He ran right by Dalton on the outside. So that was a great job of him coming back to make a play on that.
And that was a case of, J.W. Lincoln Hoker had the size advantage and pretty much able just to pluck it away from Quentin Dalton. I mean, Dalton made a really good play on that ball. But Lincoln Hoker ends up with the catch. And now Fremont-Mills with it on the Bedford 19-yard line. Again, if there's a tie and a jump ball like that, it goes to the offense.
Yep. As an offense here, you're going to want to make sure you have a couple of plays called in case, you don't get, or you're inbounds and you don't get a first down so the clock stops. So definitely I would think that they've got 2 plays called here, with not very much time left to go.
Scoreboard showing 2 timeouts. They should have 1 timeout. They called one earlier on the 4th down. So 1 timeout, 15 seconds to go in the half. And we got a whistle. I think Bedford might have taken their final timeout. They did. So Bedford's out of timeouts now. The scoreboard is still showing they have 2. But it should be 0. And the scoreboard showing Fremont-Mills has 2, and it should be 1. And
And J.W. is on the sideline after that play. Maybe this gives him an opportunity to get back in.
So we'll see what the Knights drop. And Tom, obviously with 15 seconds left and 1 timeout, the middle of the field is still in play.
Absolutely. Because if you can call a couple of plays, usually it's going to be 6 seconds if you're passing the ball. You got time to go up and spike that. And then obviously you can still huddle up and and have another play call.
So 1st and 10 for Fremont-Mills from the Bedford 19-yard line. For what it's worth, Fremont-Mills has not made a field goal this year. They did try one last week, but it was blocked, and it was partially blocked and short. Forney back to pass. Rolling right, pressure coming. Just has to cut bait and throw it away. 9.2 to go here in the half.
Great pressure there on the outside by number 80, Hayden Riddell. Riddle out there. So, no, just great penetration.
So with 9 seconds to go, Fremont-Mills still that 1 timeout. We'll be facing a 2nd and 10. The down isn't really of significance here. It's more so the time and where you're at on the field.
Yeah, I would definitely still try to get some guys to the outside. It looks like a lot of the routes are going into the middle of the field, but it's a tight set.
2nd and 10 for Fremont-Mills. 9.2 to go in the half. Forney back to pass. Over the middle of the field to Rycroft. Incomplete. Dalton came soaring in to jar that loose, so they're going to throw the flag.
I just thought that was a great defensive play there by Dalton in that situation.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is. That's a great defensive play.
So assuming it's a penalty on Bedford. That'll move the ball up, and the Bedford side in front of us not thrilled with that. And Tom, I understand, the safety aspects of football, but it didn't really felt like he launched himself there.
No, and he definitely hit him well below the shoulders as well, Trevor. So I thought that was just a great defensive play. But, obviously the refs got a little bit better view. But here's the situation. Defense, you got to go right back in the next play.
So with 4 seconds to go, Fremont-Mills going to take their final timeout because you're probably not getting another play off in 4 seconds, so you might as well take it and draw up a play.
Yep.
They're going to have it inside the 10 at the 9.5 yard, right at the 10-yard line after that penalty. Tom, where are you going here?
Well, by the end of the night, I might have JW's last name pronunciation.
Lincoln
Hoker, okay. I'm still going to look at him. He's now coming back into the game for this play because he's been out the past two, and that was a great pass there. Maybe just a little bit late on getting him the ball, but that was just a great defensive play. But they're at the 10-yard line. I'm looking to spread the field, maybe get something in the corner of the end zone.
So, again, the down doesn't really matter. It's second down, barring a defensive penalty with 4 seconds to go in the half. This will be the final play of the half. Bedford gets the football to start the second half. 14-12 advantage Bulldogs, but the Knights trying to take the lead as we go to the break. And they're late bringing a guy onto the field. They'll bring Rycroft in on the left side.
And I think they called a timeout, but I don't think they have one, do they?
They shouldn't. I thought they called one before. Otherwise, why were we breaking for so long?
Right.
If they didn't call a timeout, I don't know what we were doing. And now they're conversing. The officials are conversing, and we're going to resume play. Here we go, final play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. FM with it on the 10. Forney back to pass, pressure coming, pocket collapsing, throws a YOLO ball downfield. It is incomplete. He tried to go to Rycroft, but there were two defenders on him. And the Bedford D, well, hold the phone, we got a whistle. There's a flag on the play.
Looks like it could be holding maybe on the interior, but I couldn't really tell.
It's right near the interior at the 15, and it is a hold on Fremont-Mills. And that is how the half will end. So a wild and entertaining first 24 minutes in the books. 14-12, advantage Bedford as we go to the break here on the KMA Extreme online, KMAland.com. We'll step aside. Halftime coverage come up here in a moment.
Sid with Shaw Ag near Trainer. I'm learning all of the ins and outs of agronomy with my dad, Shane. I've learned that Pioneer seed is second to none and that they back that up with proven products and yields. I've also learned that if our customers have a question or a concern, we'll work until we figure out the answer or solution. I'm learning all of this because at Shaw Ag, we've made a commitment, and that commitment is our family helping yours. Call Shane at 712-520-1333.
Health of our community begins with you. Your journey to a degree in healthcare starts at Iowa Western Community College. Take the pulse of high-demand healthcare careers in our state-of-the-art simulation center. A degree as a certified nursing assistant makes the rounds at our Iowa Western locations. In the waiting room in Council Bluffs, Clarinda, and Harlan is a practical nursing degree. Scholarships and tuition assistance are available. Good health in Southwest Iowa begins with you. Start your career in healthcare at Iowa Western Community College. Register at iwcc.edu.
We are at the break here in Bedford. A fun first half in the books. 14-12 advantage Bulldogs here on the KMA Extreme online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you. And Tom, I don't know this is much of a surprise what we've seen tonight. Both teams, I felt all year, kind of evenly matched, and through the first 24 minutes, nothing has really changed my opinion.
Just two great football teams to me going at it right now. You know, some early jitters with some penalties, some special teams turnovers that did lead to to a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, for Fremont-Mills. But, give Bedford credit. They were able to, they took advantage of the short field as far as the kickoff return. They didn't have as far to go. So, just a great football game here so far.
Yeah, so Bedford, Fremont-Mills got the ball to start the game. They fumble a kick. Bedford turns it over on downs in FM territory. FM punts. Bedford gets the ball back. They have the punt blocked. FM scores. Since then, it kind of been counterpunched. Bedford goes down, scores. FM scores. Bedford scores, gets to 2. And then FM looked like maybe it was going to score before the end of the half. But a good stand by the Bedford defense gives them a 2-point lead as we go into the break. And, Tom, most importantly, they're going to get the football to start the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is where you could a lot of times as a coach, you might have some scripted plays coming out of halftime. I know that we used to do that quite often, depending on the situation and the scoreboard. But, if you have the opportunity here, it's things that you've worked on in practice all week long to maybe you come out. You've got 6 or 8 plays that you guys have been working on. You've got everything nailed down as far as offensive communication. This is a great time for Bedford and a good situation for them to be in.
So put on the coaching hat on both sides. We'll start on the Fremont-Mills side with Coach Greg Ernster. 2-point deficit. Going to play defense to start the second half. What does that halftime talk look like right now?
Well, I just, keep doing what they're doing. I think that they've done a really good job as far as containing the quarterback, for Bedford and Dalton. A couple of times he's got to the outside, but for the most part, they've held him, and especially Nally, they've held them both in check. I know that they've got some yards, et cetera, because Bedford's going to continue to pound the ball, but I don't think you change a whole lot. They've got pressure up front. The second level is doing their job as well.
On the other side, if you're Bedford, you go into the break with the lead, you get the football to start the second half. What does that conversation look like for Coach Nally?
You got to feel good about yourself because, to me, you haven't gotten one of your best playmakers involved as much maybe as you would like to with Nally. But at the same time, they've moved the football. They've really only hurt themselves with a couple of penalties that's kind of pushed them back in some different situations, as far as second and long, third and long. And you had said it best, Trevor, earlier on when they get, if second and long is bad, third and long is going to be even worse. And so that's kind of where they've been on a couple situations that's forced them into punting.
So 14-12 our score at the break, advantage Bedford. We're going to step aside. Class 2A and 3A state cross country going down in Fort Dodge today. Tate and Amy was there. The Trainer girls won a state title, and you had a chance to catch up with their head coach, Chaley Hempel, as well as a handful of KMA land runners. So we're going to play those interviews. When we come back, we'll have the second half. This 8-player second-round postseason game between Bedford and Fremont-Mills in the KMA Extreme.
We're here with trainer and head cross-country coach Chaley Hempel as her team has moved on to the Class 2A #1 championship. Coach, your team's the champions. What does this really mean to you?
I'm beyond excited. They worked their butts off. We've been thinking about this since last year when they got third. We went up into the clubhouse and all the girls looked at each other and they said, we want those pink hats next year. We got to win. So they've been thinking about this for a long time. So I'm super, super proud of all their hard work that's paid off.
Came in ranked number 3, but you're able to get it done. Kind of speak to that a little bit, working from behind a little bit.
Well, cross country is just kind of a funny sport in that every course is a little bit different. So they're basing it off of times. We had it in mind that we could do it, that we could pull it off today, but we weren't sure because we've only ever run against the other teams that we ran against at districts. So super excited about how they ran today. And
Lily Miller, the lone medalist for you guys. Kind of speak to her performance here today.
Amazing. So proud of her. Before the race started, all we told her was run like you have been all season. You'll be just fine. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did. We're excited for this year, obviously, but excited for years to come too.
Kind of speak to the emotions that you were feeling, watching the scoreboard up there and seeing the scores come in.
All of the emotions. Last year, I remember watching it and how our score went up and down and up and down, so I had to wait until all of the other teams went through before it finally hit me. It's just a crazy, amazing feeling. I'm so proud of the girls.
Again, Chaley Hempel, trainer, head cross-country coach as her team takes #1 here in Class 2A. Coach, I want to thank you and congratulations.
Great, thank you.
Lily Miller of Trainer Cross Country after a 14th place finish and helping her team to the championship here at the state cross country meet. Lily, I'm sure a lot of emotions right now, a medal and a team trophy for you guys. What are the thoughts and feelings?
I'm just so happy. It's a huge accomplishment and the team is so amazing, and yeah, I'm just so grateful and happy.
Kind of speak to your individual performance a little bit. I mean, a 14th place finish, a medal for you. What does that mean?
It's kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting this, and it was a tough race, but I'm glad I pushed through and got the medal.
What was the mindset going into the race today?
My coaches just told me to keep doing what I have been all season and just get a good start and just run.
You helped lead your team to a first place trophy here at the state tournament. What does that mean to you to be able to take home that trophy?
It's amazing. It's the first in trainer history for cross country, and yeah, I will go home and celebrate, and it'll be so amazing.
What does it mean for you to be able to run here with all of your teammates behind you as well?
I'm so happy with all of the teammates. They're just so amazing, and I can't wait to ride back and yeah, just have fun.
All right, well, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Harlan cross-country runners Ashlyn Rao and Julia Hesslink, after both placing inside the top 15 here today at the state cross-country meets. Ashlyn, we'll go ahead and start with you. Talk a little bit about the race today.
I felt pretty good, other than it was a little cold, so I couldn't feel my legs. But overall, I think I still ran pretty strong, and I'm really happy with how I finished.
What were you kind of saying to get through the cold and windy weather?
Last year I was so close, so to keep pushing, because last year just missing out made me really upset, so this determination helped me get through it.
You get up there on the medal stand, what does that mean for you?
It means so much, especially coming close last year. It just feels so good to be able to be up there this year.
All right, Julia, we'll go ahead and move over to you. Kind of the same question. What were the thoughts on the race here today?
Since it was just a little bit of a gloomy day and the weather was a little tougher than the races we've had before, I just knew that legs were going to be cold and it was going to be a numb race, but can't let go of the mind, can't let it just wander off, got to focus.
What was the mindset coming into the race today?
I didn't really have a set goal. I just wanted to help out our team the most and placing the best that we could. But right when the race started, I just tried to stick with Ashlyn here and just keep pushing no matter what and not slowing down, because this was our last race of the season.
You also get up there on the medal stand. What does that mean to you?
It means so much to me, just being a freshman and having this opportunity, just having something that most people haven't reached yet, but I'm so incredibly grateful that I can and that I got to do this.
Both of you can answer this one. I mean, you guys finished 10th and 12th, so close together, being able to run with each other. What does that mean, and being able to push each other? How has that kind of helped you throughout the season and here today in this race?
I think it just means we're going to have 3 more years together. We can push each other so much more. And if I'm going to hold under Ashlyn's wing, and she's just going to help us along the way. And we've grown so much closer this season, and just we've become such good friends. So it's going to be a good high school career.
Yeah, like she said, and also just to have her push me in practice. She gets me a run for my money every day in practice. So just having someone to push me and someone to run really close to me just makes me a better runner, and I'm happy to have her on my team.
Last question. You guys get to do this with your entire team as well here at the state meet. What does that mean, being able to run as a team?
We get to have all of our teammates here. We get to have these bonding moments. Everyone's here cheers each other on. We get to be happy, we get to be sad, we get to be all the emotions together. And we get to be here even when it's cold and gloomy. We are happy and our spirits are high.
It means so much to me because I think, in my opinion, it's so much more fun to have a team with you up here. So just having everyone to support you and hype you up, and even coming up here together, I just feel like the experience is so much fun. Not just the racing, but also just the experience.
All right, well, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Emmanuel Grass of Red Oak Cross Country after a 6th place finish here at the Class 2A Boys State Cross Country meets. Emmanuel, what are the thoughts and feelings after a 6th place finish?
I mean, really happy with it. First time on the deck. There's no feeling like that. Just going out there, seeing the whole crowd, everyone cheering your name. I mean, just crazy feeling. I mean, just the race, going into it, I knew I had a good chance of medaling, so just wanted to run within myself, not get any outside pressure, and just run what I knew I could do.
Going into the race, what was kind of the mindset for you?
Just stay relaxed. I know I could do good. Just no outside pressure. Just run the race and just do what I know I could do. I had the training and I've done everything I had to do. Now just execute. That's basically all I had to do.
Your team was here to back you up the entire way. What does that really mean for all of Red Oak Cross Country to be able to be here and run?
It was really fun. I mean, we were all at the hotel having fun. Just on the start line, finally, just not by myself or just by myself with another teammate like last year. Just everyone together, everyone supporting each other. It was a good time. We were all locked in. We were all ready to go. Off that start line, I felt good. Just ready to run, honestly. And yeah, just happy with it.
Cold and windy temperatures here today. How did that kind of affect the race?
Yeah, I feel like everyone ran kind of slow. Even the state champ Emerson. I think last year 10 seconds apart. So I know I ran pretty good within myself. I was ranked 6th going into it, and I got 6th. So definitely a decent showing. I know I didn't have the best day. On a good day, I really hope to get top 3, honestly. But it was a good day. Happy to be up on the deck. Next year, I really want to hopefully get that state chip. That's what I'm going to be training for and aiming for. So we'll see what happens.
Last question, we've kind of already talked about it a little bit, but you get that medal around your neck and you get up on the deck for the first time. What are the emotions that you're kind of feeling right now?
I mean, insanely happy. I was up there just shaking from happiness. I mean, it's really cool too, but I just saw everyone just cheering, and there is really nothing like it. First medal around my neck ever at a state competition. So I was really happy with it. Just the emotions going into it. I just really wanted that medal. Just really happy with it. I know I had a good day today, and I know I could have way better days to come.
All right, well, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Mason Sells and Carter Buttry of Shenandoah Cross Country, after both placing in the top 50 today at the state cross country meet in Fort Dodge. Mason, we'll go ahead and start with you. A 20th place finish for you today. Kind of talk a little bit about your day tonight.
I thought it was really good. We woke up early this morning and kind of got ready to go, and then drove here and started our just meet day schedule, kind of our preparation.
With the cold, windy conditions today, how did that kind of affect your running?
I tried to not let it affect it. I wore my tights to kind of try to stay warm. We kept our sweats on until 2 minutes before race time, so kind of had to just push through it during the race, but otherwise I've been pretty warm.
Speak to the state cross country experience. What has it been like for you to be here?
I thought it's been really, really good for kind of just another experience to have, just hanging out with Carter in the hotel and just driving up here, long drive with Coach, kind of got to talk through a lot of his past experiences, and I thought it's just been really fun to kind of come out here and run against really good competition.
What was your mindset going into today's race?
So my coach told me that it'd be really, really fast at the gate, so I kind of tried to, I did not want to get stuck back there, so I maybe went out a little too hard and kind of died off my 3rd mile, but kind of just got to push through the middle miles and finish hard.
All right, Carter, we'll go ahead and move over to you. A 50th place finish for you today at the state cross country meet. Kind of talk a little bit about it. What are the thoughts and feelings?
I thought I ran decent, and it was cold. It was a cold day, and I tried to stay up with a fast stack and keep pushing through the middle miles of the race.
What has the experience been like? What's it been like for you to be here?
Really fun and good experience. Hang out with Mason and hang out with the other teammates.
Running at state cross country, and you get a teammate to do it with you. What does that really mean to you to be able to run with Mason here at the state cross country meet?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's way better than being the only one, and it's fun having a teammate with me to warm up.
All right, well, thank you so much, guys, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Isaiah Storico, Florida Cross Country, after competing at the state cross country tournament here at Fort Dodge. Isaiah, what were the thoughts and feelings after today's race?
It was a good race. I'm pretty proud of it. I ran about what I've been running all season, pretty consistent.
Talk a little bit about the competition here. What did it really mean to you to be able to run against all these fast runners at state cross country?
It was a really fun experience. A lot of guys, I respect them a lot. They're really fast. They put in a lot of work to get here.
Welcome back to Bedford, KMA Extreme, online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you here tonight. Class 8 player second round action. 14-12, advantage Bedford over Fremont-Mills, and Bedford will get the football to start the second half. As Carter Rycroft will kick it away for the Knights. So we'll see what halftime adjustments each team's made during the break. And somebody, barring overtime, 24 minutes away from a trip to a quarterfinal. This will be a returnable kick. Quentin Dalton fields it at the 7-yard line. Dalton up to the 25, spins free, still on his feet, and will finally be wrestled down at around the 29-yard line. And now Bedford's offense will go to work. And Tom, I know there's still a lot of game left, but this is a big drive on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Bedford, I come out and I just stay the course. They came out of the gates running the football pretty well. Moving the football, kind of shot themselves in the foot early with a couple of penalties. But don't change what you're doing. Be who you are.
So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs on the 29-yard line. Dalton will have Nally on his left hip in a shotgun. Deemer, the H-back on the right side for Bedford. Wanting to pass is Dalton. Now he'll tuck it and run, and he gets brought down for a small loss. That was covered really well by Fremont-Mills, and there to bring him down was Rhett Lemons.
Yeah, they just had one guy going out there, and Sawyer Forney did a great job of covering him out in the flats. Just trying to catch him a little bit off balance.
Loss of 1 will make it 2nd and 11 now for Bedford. Yeah, we've talked about how FM leads the state in sacks. They also lead the state in interceptions, so that means their secondary has played well throughout the year. Dalton with Nally on his right hip in the shotgun. Right side is the strong side. Dalton will run up the middle, gets back to the 35-yard line before being brought down, and now a 3rd down and about 5 coming up for this Bedford offense on their first drive of the second half.
Yeah, and I still think they're going to continue to attack, Trevor, that right side of the field, just because right now it's on the right hash and they're going away, obviously, which I would do the same from Mason Reed consistently. But they've found something there that they like.
3rd down and long 4, short 5 for the Bulldogs. At the 35-yard line, Dalton quarterback run up the middle. Close to the 1st down. I think he got it by about a yard, and they will give it to him. Dalton does a good job of leaning forward and gets to midfield, gain of 5. 1st down for Bedford with 10:25 to go in the quarter.
And don't go away from it. Just keep doing, obviously they're here for a reason with what they've been doing all year long. So I would just continue to try to just run the football the entire time.
My very unofficial stats has Quentin Dalton 10 carries for 84 yards tonight, so about 8.4 a tote. They will reverse it. Nally, or they fake the reverse to Deemer, and then they give it to Nally, and that did not fool Fremont-Mills as Nally gets dropped for a 3-yard loss. And Tom, there was a lot of eye candy there, but Fremont-Mills didn't bite on any of it.
Yeah, they were just out of a pro set under center, trying to run a counter, coming back to the short side. Mason Reed just did an outstanding job there of following the pulling guard, led them right to the play, so that was just a great defensive play. And then obviously the guys cleaned it up from behind.
2nd down and long now coming up for Bedford, which is not a spot they want to make their living in. 9:30 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Dalton will go out of a shotgun. The left side appears to be the strong side. 2 receivers to the left. Back to pass is Dalton. Throws downfield to Coleman. Had a step on his defender, but he just overthrew him. And it's incomplete. Coleman just got a beat on Sawyer Forney, but they were not simpatico, and it's 3rd down.
No, and Fremont-Mills got really fortunate there because Case and Churchill ran a wheel route out of that twin set, and they didn't have anybody that went with him down the sideline. So definitely maybe something Bedford can come back and look at.
3rd and 13, and now, Tom, after the incomplete pass on 2nd and long, you're putting a 3rd and long. What are you drawing up here?
Well, I still would like to try to get Nally the ball as much as I can. A lot of times he's in the backfield, but, try to figure out a way to get him the ball maybe with the screen look.
3rd and 13 from the 38. Dalton back to pass. Pressure coming downfield. Coleman, it's intercepted. Picked off by Sam Sanchez up to the 35. Trying to bounce it right side. Now cuts back up the middle. Still on his feet. He's got blockers. 30 and finally brought down by Dalton at the 21. But the FM defense has been opportunistic all year. Gets one there.
Yeah, he just floated that one a little bit too much. Once again, if he didn't have as much time as he would like, he did have somebody open along the sideline. But just, what a great play there by Sanchez.
Sanchez with his 6th interception of the year. They'll mark him down at the 23. But the turnover and the long return will put Fremont-Mills in business in Bedford territory here early in the second half.
And a great job there of Fremont-Mills blocking after the interception to get him some quality yards.
So now a 1st down for the Knights at the 23-yard line. Forney on Ekpai on his right hip. 2 receivers to the right side, strong side. Forney, screen, Rycroft catches it, breaks out of a tackle, cuts upfield, and gets brought down near the 1st down. Gain of about 9. Rycroft did a good job making yards after the catch.
Yeah, they've just once again it's just that twin set, and they're running a cover 2, Trevor, with a guy out there in the slot and one over the top. It's just they're just leaving a lot of room up in there, allowing for that play to happen. I look for them to maybe come up a little bit tighter.
2nd and 1 for Fremont-Mills now from the Bedford 14-yard line after the Sam Sanchez interception and long return put them in business. Forney back to pass. Quick pass. Lincoln Hoker makes the catch. Gets out of tackle. Still on his feet. 10, 5. Towards the goal line. Just down shy of the goal line. And J.W. Lincoln Hoker, the law firm as I like to call him, gets a gain of 12 to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, just once again figuring out ways to get them the ball. It's that same twin set. So Bedford's going to have to make some adjustments there in that situation.
1st and goal to go for Fremont-Mills. Inside the 3-yard line of Bedford. 7:55 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Forney busy backfield. Moreland beside him. Ekpai behind him. He'll put it in the belly of Ekpai. Ekpai through the traffic into the end zone. Touchdown, Fremont-Mills. And the Knights capitalize on the interception and take the lead.
Outstanding job there once again up front. They're just when they're not passing the ball, Ekpai has been doing really well. I don't know how many yards, Trevor, he's had, but going up the middle there, he's been very successful tonight.
9 for 54, so averaging 6 yards a carry.
I definitely would keep feeding him.
Yes, very much so. So now Fremont-Mills will go for 2. They are 0 for 2 on those tonight, and that was kind of the one fault they had last week in the win over St. Edmund. I think they missed on their first 4. Again, busy backfield. They fake the give. Quarterback rollout, throws to Reed. It was defended well by Ashton Nally, who dropped back in coverage and knocked it away. But Fremont-Mills scores after the turnover, and it's 18-14 Knights with 7:45 to go here in the 3rd. KMX Stream, we're back in 30 from Bedford.
Stoner Drug accepts the majority of Medicare Part D prescription cards and can answer your questions when coverage is confusing. Stoner Drug also has a full selection of over-the-counter medications and vitamins that might be just what you're looking for. Stoner Drug offers vaccinations too, including vaccines for flu, shingles, and COVID-19 boosters. See your local Stoner Drug store today. Stoner Drug, with locations in Rockport, Missouri, Hamburg, Villisca, and Tabor, Iowa, and Auburn, Nebraska. Your full-service Medicare providers.
A Jonathan Ekpai touchdown run after a Sam Sanchez interception has given Fremont-Mills an 18-14 lead with 7:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. So Fremont-Mills capitalizes on the turnover. Both teams have committed a turnover, or forced a turnover, so to speak. Difference is Fremont-Mills scored on theirs. Carter Rycroft will kick it away. This will be a returnable kick fielded by Coleman inside the 10. Case Coleman upfield and brought down at around the 16-yard line. I'll mark him actually at the 17. That'll be where Bedford's offense begins this next drive. And Tom, we saw, Bedford got behind the chains. They had to pass. It's obviously not a situation they're comfortable in. I imagine it's still keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. What they did on the pass possession, Trevor, they went under center out of a pro set, and like you had said, almost it seems like everyone goes out of the shotgun anymore. When they went under center, they don't run a ton of different plays out of that, and so obviously you could see that Fremont-Mills was. They knew what was coming and allowed for them to get a tackle for loss.
So 1st down coming up for Bedford from their own 18-yard line. 7:37 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Dalton with Nally on his right hip in the shotgun. Quarterback run. Dalton fakes right, goes left, has room on the left side. He gets the 1st down and then awkwardly slides, gets twisted down near the 30. But again, we talked about earlier, Dalton's really good at kind of feigning one way and going left. As I watch that, I do kind of see the Lane Speaker comparison that Coach Ernster mentioned.
And, right there, Fremont-Mills, what they did is they took Mason Reed and they slid him over to the short side of the field for a quick adjustment. And I think maybe Dalton saw that and went back the other way, but that was just a great job of cutting back across the grain.
Gain of 11 for Dalton as he gets near 100 yards on the night. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs with 7:25 to go here in the 3rd quarter. They rush up to the huddle with 5 left on the play clock. Dalton, though, they tried to pitch it to Nally. Ball was on the ground for a moment. There's a scramble for it. Fremont-Mills thinks they have it.
It should
Haven't
be
seen a signal. It's going to be. It was like a pop pass. And it's an incomplete pass is what they call it. Good catch there, Tom.
Yeah, it was just, it looked like it was going to be a little bit of a shovel pass, but boy, that was well defended right away from Fremont-Mills.
Yeah, it was a pop pass that Nally couldn't hang on to, so instead of it being a fumble, it goes to an incomplete pass. So now,
just kind of uncharacteristic, Trevor. I guess I would just kind of, I'd like to see them stick with what they've been doing.
Especially on 1st and 10.
Yeah.
Because now you put yourself in a bind on 2nd and 10.
Yep.
Dalton with Nally on the right hip. He'll run right side. Gets out of a tackle in the backfield. Gets to the outside. 40, 30. Forney able to wrestle him down right around the 30-yard line at the 29.
And I would definitely keep doing it. There's a flag.
Yeah, we do have a flag somewhere. I cannot see where it is, but Bedford is walking back like they know it's on them. And it is a hold. Now I see it. It's on the 38-yard line. So a hold on Bedford will wipe out the long run. It'll end up being a spot foul, so from the 37, they'll mark it back to the 27.
But once again, like we had talked about earlier, just kind of shooting themselves in the foot with some of these penalties because that was a great gain, attacking the short side of the field again when Reed went to the opposite.
So now 2nd and 13 coming up for Bedford from the 27 after the holding penalty. 7:14 to go here in the third quarter. 18-14 advantage Fremont-Mills. Dalton with Nally on his right hip. 2 receivers to the right. Dalton calling for the snap, wanting to pass. Downfield, Coleman, one-on-one with Sanchez. Coleman can't quite get it. Had a step on Sanchez, but the throw just a little too far in front of him, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, that was a good attempt, though. Just taking a shot there down the field with some one-on-one coverage. But, here we are again. We've been saying this all game. 3rd and extremely long, 3rd and 13, and it's just, it's just a position that they're not familiar with or comfortable with.
So now a 3rd and long coming up for Bedford with 7:09 to go here in the third quarter. And we saw the last time they were in this 3rd and long situation, it resulted in a turnover. They're hoping for a better result here. Dalton back to pass on 3rd down. Pass to Churchill on the far side, just overthrew him. Yeah, he had him on the boundary. They just couldn't connect.
It's that same wheel route that we've been talking about and discussing here a little bit, Trevor. It was the same thing. They had him early. Just a little bit late decision there, but probably looking at punting the ball here.
So with 7:03 to go in the third, Bedford's going to punt for just the second time tonight. The first time they punted, it was blocked. So Case Coleman back to punt on this 4th down. High snap. Gets it off. End-over-end punt will be fielded by Sanchez at around the 20. Sanchez up to the 30, breaks out an ankle tackle, still on his feet, and then brought down by John Deemer at the 36-yard line. But Fremont-Mills offense will now go to work. And, Tom, this is the first time tonight that Fremont-Mills has had a chance to have the ball with a lead.
Yeah.
Does that change things for them?
Yeah, well, I guess, just watching that last possession, Trevor, they got the ball out to the flats and let their playmakers make some plays. And, I wouldn't go away from that here, especially on 1st down. It might be something I come out and try again just to see if Bedford's going to make any adjustments.
So 1st and 10 for Fremont-Mills from the 36-yard line. Big drive coming up for the Knights, up by 4 midway through the third quarter. Forney with Ekpai on his right. And they will feed Ekpai. Ekpai breaks out a tackle in the backfield up to the 39-yard line before being brought down. So a manageable gain on 1st down will make it 2nd and 7.
He's running extremely hard right there right up the middle. So I would, like we had said before, maybe keep feeding him. But no, I would just make sure to try to keep that clock running. I know that. But I still look for them to maybe take a chance to the outside.
2nd and 7 coming up for Fremont-Mills from the 39-yard line. 6.5 to go here in the third. Forney empty backfield. Quarterback run, right side, cuts it up to the 35. Still on his feet, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Fremont-Mills. Sawyer Forney goes the distance, 41 yards.
Yeah, they did a trips bunch right there, Trevor, off to the right-hand side. It was a formation that Bedford has not seen yet tonight. Great call right there on 2nd down.
So Forney, who just kind of glided until he got to the 2nd level and hit a 2nd gear, gets his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. We've got our first multiple possession lead as Bedford now trails. Fremont-Mills leads Bedford 24-14. And Fremont-Mills will go for 2 after the 41-yard touchdown run by Sawyer Forney. Forney again, empty backfield, 3 receivers to the right, wanting to pass, pocket collapsing, sidearm pass to Rycroft. Could not quite haul it in, it was knocked away. But Sawyer Forney goes 40 yards for the score, 24-14 Fremont-Mills, 6:11 left here in the third. KMA Extreme.
Looking to move to Southwest Iowa, wanting to downsize? It's a great time to move in with us. Heritage Terrace Apartments in Sidney and Valley View Villa in Tabor have units open for immediate move-in, and Malvern Village in Malvern and Forest Park Manor in Shenandoah will take your application now and notify you when living spaces become available. All 4 residential communities offer worry-free living with rent and utilities combined into one easy payment based on your income. For an application, contact us today at 866-228-6257.
Sawyer Forney goes 41 yards for his second rushing score of the night, 7th of the season. And Tom Peterson, now the Knights have scored the first 12 out of the halftime break.
Yeah, you and I just talked about it at our break. Trevor, if I'm Bedford, I still stick with what's gotten you here. I continue to pound the football, and you had said it at best on the first down, just trying something a little bit different that maybe they haven't done or they're accustomed to, and it kind of just is getting them into some uncomfortable situations.
So now Fremont-Mills will kick it away with Carter Rycroft. Quentin Dalton and Case Coleman back to return. Here's a dribbling kick. Coleman fields it. He slipped. He picks it up at the 10. Coleman trying to follow his blocks and gets gobbled up at around the 18, 19-yard line. And that will be where the Bedford offense goes to work. As you mentioned, Tom, there's still a lot of time. There's 18 minutes left. I guess as Hayden Fry would say, dance with the girl that got you here.
No, and I would just keep doing it. I still have – I just would, Trevor. I would try to get Nally the ball a little bit more. I'm not sure how many carries he's had, but, maybe get a lead blocker in there for him as well. But just trying to get the ball into his hands and just stay what you've been doing all season long.
And Nally 9 carries for 23 yards tonight by my tally. 1st and 10 for Bedford on their own 19-yard line. 6:05 to go here in the third. Dalton out of a shotgun. They'll put it in the belly of Nally, and he gets tackled for a loss. Mason Reed got off his block really well, and the hole closed quickly. Gavin Crom was in there as well. I might actually give him a yard or so, but not much there for the taking.
Yeah, Carter Rycroft did a great job there as outside linebacker coming in to shut that down. And then, like you said, Reed really closed that gap down.
Well, and Tom, we were talking about this before the game, too. They use him in a lot of different ways. They'll line him up, over center. They'll line him up kind of out on the edge and give him different looks.
It's a problem offensively wise because it's a double team, and
right.
If you don't double team in Trevor, you're going to be in trouble.
2nd and 11 now for Bedford from the 18-yard line. Dalton back to pass. Quick pass caught Coleman. Coleman trying to get to the middle of the field. Ball came out, and Fremont-Mills is on it. Coleman trying to make yards after the catch. The ball came out. Sam Sanchez came up with the fumble and jarring that loose for Fremont-Mills. I didn't get the jersey number on that, but Sanchez recovers the fumble.
Yeah, if he catches that and just turns to the outside, Trevor, I think he would have been okay. But I do understand trying to make a play in this situation. But right now, this is where your defense has you just got to dig deep right here.
So now Fremont-Mills with it on the Bedford 23-yard line, a chance to really put the pressure on the Bulldogs with 5:17 to go here in the third. Forney with Ekpai on his left hip out of a shotgun. They give it to Ekpai. Ekpai gets a couple of yards up to the 20-yard line. Gain of 3. Again, the winner of this will get either Southeast Warren or Woodbine next Thursday night in a state quarterfinal. I know Woodbine was up big late in the second quarter of that game. If it's Fremont-Mills, Woodbine, it would be the second meeting of the year between those two teams.
Yeah, just like in that last play, the interior right now for Fremont-Mills is getting a really good push. So they have made an adjustment. Lucas Miner came off. They went with Gabe Gray and a defensive nose guard.
2nd and 7 for Fremont-Mills from the Bedford 20-yard line. Forney running right. Looks like design quarterback run. Gets a couple of yards before being licked out of bounds. But a gain of a few will make it 3rd and manageable. And the playbook, I'd imagine, very, very open for Coach Ernster on this 3rd down.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where you want to be. You're down to almost the 20-yard line. Everything is available there for you. You can spread the field, especially with the athletes. And then the run-pass option that Sawyer provides.
Well, not to mention, you probably feel like you've got 2 plays to get 5 yards here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 3rd and 5 coming up for Fremont-Mills. We get to 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Knights trying to capitalize on a fumble recovery. Forney will have a running back on his left hip in the shotgun. Nash Moreland. He'll give to Moreland. Moreland tried to cut upfield, lost his footing. Didn't get anything. Might have actually lost about a yard. And now it's 4th down coming up for Fremont-Mills and a chance for the Bedford defense to bow their necks on this 4th and what will be 6.
Good penetration there up front, just, making him try to cut back against the grain.
So 4th down for Fremont-Mills. And a big play for them as they try to get a little more separation. Big play for Bedford as they try to keep this at a 10-point game here in the final third of the third quarter.
I think we might have a timeout.
Yeah, they are taking their time, and they'll rush up to the huddle. Down to 2 on the play clock. Forney will take the snap. Quarterback run, left side. Forney has a convoy. Gets upended. Nice play by Kason Churchill.
That was just a great job of stringing that out to the sideline. Trevor, you and I just mentioned, maybe a timeout there. They looked hurried in that situation, and I don't know if maybe some of their players got set or not, but a great defensive stand there by Bedford.
So a 4th down stop for the Bulldogs will give them the ball back on the 17-yard line. So the turnover doesn't dig them any more of a hole. And now they'll try to chip this back down to a 1-score game. Dalton will have Nally on his left hip out of a shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Quarterback run, Dalton. Rycroft got to him in the backfield and spun him down.
Just outstanding on the outside there. They're just coming up and making plays and filling. They're in a cover 2 right there, so they're just allowing them to make plays.
Loss of 2 makes it 2nd and 12. And, Tom, the Fremont-Mills offense has been really good all year. What they've been able to do balance-wise. Maybe the defense a bit overlooked in terms of what they've done. Take out, games against a really good Audubon team and a really good Woodbine team. They're holding opponents to like 28 total points in their other 7 games.
Yep, absolutely unreal.
So now a 2nd and 12 for Bedford from the 15. Dalton passing down here. Pocket collapsing. Dalton squirms 3 left side. Now we'll put a move on a defender and gets a little bit back to the 21-yard line. 6-yard gain for Dalton.
Yeah,
it'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, Trevor, and I know they were kind of in 2nd and long situation there, but the 1st down plays, I would still like to see them run the football. Still a ton of time left, with almost 2 minutes here to go in the third quarter.
So now a 3rd and 6 coming up for the Bulldogs from the 21-yard line. Really, really big play here because you don't get any yardage, you're probably punting.
Yep.
Put a receiver out far right side. It's Hayden Rydell. Dalton out of the shotgun. Quick pass. Rydell makes the catch. Fighting toward the 1st down. It's going to be close. I think he got it by about a half yard.
Take what the defense is giving you. They're playing about 7-8 yards off of them. Just a quick, nothing but just a hook pattern right there. They got him the football out in space and able to make a play.
Needed 6, gets 7. 1st down now for Bedford at their own 28-yard line. 1:25 to go here in the third quarter. Kason Churchill will bring in the play from the sideline. Bulldogs trying to get this down to a 1-score deficit. Here, there's a player second-round matchup. Dalton out of a shotgun. Looks like he's going to run and keeps it up the middle for about a 3-yard gain to the 31. And it'll be 2nd down and about 7 as we get under a minute to go here in the quarter.
Yeah, and you're asking a lot there out of Lucas Minor. He's going up against, he's just a freshman, but he's going up against Mason Reed there in that situation. And obviously the senior has, been there, done that. He's going to probably be a little bit more experienced.
Gain of 3 for Dalton, 2nd and 7, 35 seconds to go in the quarter. Could be the final play of the quarter. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Dalton will look like a passing play, but we've got a whistle and a flag on the far side, and a false start on Bedford is going to back them up 5.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of a wide series is what we called it, Trevor. They got 2 receivers to one side, obviously, then with another receiver spread out to the other. And it just, right now maybe they don't look real comfortable in running this formation.
2nd and what will be 12 now for Bedford from the 26. With 30.3 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Clock will run, and this will likely be the final play of the frame. Dalton out of a shotgun. Back to pass. Quick pass caught Coleman. Coleman turns around, gets spun down by Forney. They'll give him progress at the 32, so it's a gain of 6, but a 3rd down and 6 coming up for Bedford when we start the fourth quarter. So FM wins that frame 12-0, and they will take a 24-14 lead into the fourth. We're back in a moment with the fourth quarter from Bedford. KMA Extreme online, KMAland.com.
Be complicated, but not with Wellmark. Call me, Doug Astrop in Sydney at 712-374-2620 to make choosing the right Medicare plan easy. I am available anytime to answer all your questions, walk you through the process, and make sure you're getting a plan to meet your needs so you can find coverage confidence.
Doug Astrop is a local authorized independent agent for Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa. To be eligible, you must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare Supplement insurance plans are not affiliated with any government agency. Products available at Farm Bureau Financial Services.
On to the fourth we go here in Bedford, 24-14. Fremont-Mills leading Bedford, 8-player second-round matchup. What a fun game this has been here tonight. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you. And, Tom, a very big 3rd down coming up for the Bulldogs start this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you could, Trevor, you mentioned this earlier, you could, if you wanted to, 2-down territory. I realize you're on 33, 32-yard line, but as much success as they've had on the ground, if you're approaching it that way, just keep doing what you've been doing. So there's still no reason to push a panic button if you're Bedford.
So 3rd and 6 from their own 32 to start this fourth quarter. What a fun 8-player second-round game. Thought on paper it could be, and it has lived up to that. Dalton back to pass on 3rd down, and it's caught near the first down right Dell. And second, third, fourth, whatever effort you want to call it, it was a first down by the slimmest of margins. Good job by Hayden Rydell to fight through a tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pass there out there into the flat by Dalton, because that slot, that outside linebacker just about undercut that route. So that was a great play there.
Needed 6, and they got about 6 1/4. And it's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Here are the early stages of this fourth quarter. Dalton running back on his left hip out of a shotgun. Quarterback run, Dalton. Dalton trying to find his blocks, cuts up field, and gets to the 36-yard line of Fremont-Mills before J.W. Lincoln Hoker brings him down.
Good play there once again. They got back into a bunch set and able to go. They went away once again from Mason Reed, which I would obviously do the entire game if I was coaching.
Gain of 6 as Dalton is now over 100 yards on the night. So we approach 11 minutes to go in this. Big drive for the Bulldogs to try to get this down to a 1-score game early in the fourth quarter. Nally with Dalton back there with him. Out of a shotgun movement up front. No harm, no foul. Dalton takes a snap, quarterback run left side, tries to break out of a tackle, cannot. Good contained by the Fremont-Mills defense. Nash Moreland makes the tackle. And now it's 3rd down. Coming up for Bedford at the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5. Actually lost a yard.
Yeah, great job there, stretching that play out to the sideline. Able to, John Deemer right there. He had to take on 2 different guys there. And so Fremont-Mills, great play.
So now a 3rd down and 5 coming up for Bedford. And I'd imagine this is definitely 4-down territory, barring something backwards. 2 receivers to the right. Dalton out of the shotgun. Back to pass. Dalton pocket collapsing, and he gets sacked. That was Schaff that comes up with the sack. And I said barring a backwards play, and there's the backwards play. The sack by Blake Schaff will make it 4th and long back at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Fremont-Mills, great adjustment there. They came out in press coverage, Trevor, because you could see that they were all running very quick hook patterns.
4th and 13, and now the Bulldogs going to punt it away. Case Coleman will punt. Big stand for the FM defense. Little fake punt. Didn't fool Fremont-Mills. They faked the reverse to Dalton. Coleman kept it. Nash Moreland and Blake Schaff there to clean things up. And on Halloween, Bedford goes to their bags of tricks, and it doesn't work.
No, that's just one of those. It's 50-50 chance there in that situation. I understand the call, but, once again, there's still 9 minutes and 30 seconds left. One play can do a lot of damage. Defense, once again, is going to have to rise to the occasion.
So now Fremont-Mills will take over on their own 26-yard line with 9:33 to go. Here's a run. Ekpai gets to the 25-yard line. So we get to 9:20 to go in this game. Gain of 2 for Jonathan Ekpai, who maybe in terms of volume tonight, you look at his stats, won't wow you, but he has been an X factor on the offensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You're going to feel those tackles against him because he's a bruiser and he runs hard. He runs downhill. Great play there, though, from Nally coming up to make that.
2nd and 9. Long 9, short 8 for Fremont-Mills now on the 25-yard line. Forney out of a shotgun. 2 receivers to the left. Screen, Lincoln Hoker makes the catch, cuts upfield, and is upended at the 20. Maybe actually the 19-yard line, but third catch of the night for J.W. Lincoln Hoker. Sets up a 3rd and short.
Some confusion out there once again, Trevor. Nally's going out there into the flats, and I don't think that's where they're wanting him to go. So you can see that Coach Nally, he's kind of just upset there. Maybe it's a little bit of stuff that happened after the play.
So 3rd and short coming up for Fremont-Mills. 8:20 and rolling left here in this one. And the Knights a chance to really, really put the screws to Bedford here in the 4th quarter. Up 10. Trying to grow their lead. They have scored the only points of the second half, and they're going to take a timeout and talk it over. So 8:08 to go. Fremont-Mills knocking on the door of another score. They've got a 3rd and 3 on the Bedford 19. We come back here in 30. KMA Extreme, KMAland.com.
Juniors and seniors, don't miss the Next Gen Tech Expo, November 8th in Council Bluffs. Hosted by Agrivision Equipment and Prairieland Partners, this is your chance to show off your skills and compete for a chance to win prizes and a spot in the 2026 We Lead Technician Institute. Earn paid tuition, tools, housing, benefits, and a paycheck. Register now at agrivisionequipment.com.
Welcome back to Bedford, KMA Extreme Online, KMAland.com. Trevor Mader, Tom Peterson with you. Class A players, 2nd round matchup. Fremont-Mills with a 3rd and 3 from the Bedford 18-yard line as we come out of this timeout.
Big play here, defensively wise. Got to make sure you don't jump, first of all, up front. But, after that, make sure you read things correctly, gap sound, and obviously you're going to want to come with a lot of people.
So 3rd down, busy backfield. Forney will have Moreland on his right hip, sidecar. Ekpai behind him. They'll put in the belly of Ekpai. Ekpai downhill, running hard to the 16-yard line. He had a nice seam to run through before he was even touched, and it's a 1st down, actually down to the 13, gain of 6.
And when he's got a full head of steam, Trevor, he's going to be tough to bring down, and you're not going to see a lot of defensive backs that are going to want to, step up and make that play either. So just impressive with him tonight, watching him run the football.
1st and 10 for the Knights. I think they're going to try to milk a little clock here as well, Tom.
Yep.
Bedford's offense not necessarily built for scoring in flurries. They break the huddle with 8 left on the play clock. Forney taking the snap. He'll hand it off Ekpai. Ekpai with another hole into the open field and inside the 5 to the 2. Actually down to the 1. And it's a goal-to-go situation for Fremont-Mills with 4 plays to get 1 yard.
Yeah, once again, just the guys up front are just doing some work, in order to be successful, especially this late in the game. You can see that it's taken its toll, for all of these with 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
So Fremont-Mills offense, it's rushed for 167 yards on 28 carries tonight. Ekpai, that was his 14th carry for 80 yards. So 1st and goal from the 1 for Fremont-Mills. We approach 7 minutes to go. Forney will hand it off Ekpai. Ekpai is into the end zone for the 3rd time tonight. And Jonathan Ekpai grows Fremont-Mills' lead to 30-14, and now a really big 2-point conversion coming up.
Absolutely, and a great job once again. You can see they're going behind. Big number 8, Mason Reed there. It seems like every single play. Just a great job up front with everybody.
So the Knights, who have been 0 for 4 on 2-point conversions tonight, will try to make it 1 for 5, and this would be the difference between a 2-score game and a 3-score game.
This is where, you wish you had one of those, just an extra point kicker that could get this through. But like you had said, they've struggled so far. We'll see what happens here.
They'll go for 2, and there was movement up front. And, of course, when there's movement, the offense says it's on the defense. The defense says it's on the offense. It's up to the officials to decide. I think everybody with a flag, I think, threw one.
Yep.
So they will converse, and it's an offside on Bedford that'll move the ball up to the 1.5-yard line. And that'll be where the Knights have this next 2-point try again. If they add this, it's a 3-score game with 6:40 to go. A stop would keep it at a 2-score game, but, of course, Bedford would need 2 2-point conversions. So a big play. Forney will hand off Ekpai, and Ekpai gets to the end zone. And for the first time in 5 tries, Fremont-Mills gets a 2-point conversion, and it comes when they need it most. Have a night, John Ekpai. 32-14, advantage Knights. We're back in a moment. KMA Extreme, KMAland.com.
Northwest Missouri State University, you can follow your interests and discover new ones, no matter how different they may be. Explore over 200 programs and over 150 student organizations. At Northwest, you can be a scholar, an artist, an athlete, and a leader, all at the same time. Why be just one thing when you can be every you? Learn more at start.nwmissouri.edu.
John Ekpai's third touchdown of the night has grown the Fremont-Mills lead to 32-14 with 6:41 to go. And, it's never over until it's over, but everything going the Knights' way here in the second half, Tom.
Yeah, you're going to have to change the way you do things now if you're Bedford. Still, 6.5 to go in the fourth, but you're going to have to probably open it up even more, which I know that you and I have talked about it. They're not always comfortable with.
If you're Bedford, you take a really big special teams play. Carter Rycroft kick will be fielded on a hop by Quentin Dalton and around the 10-yard line. Dalton up to the 23 before being gobbled up by the Fremont-Mills defense. Carter Rycroft among those in there making the tackle, and now Bedford has their work cut out for them as they will start this drive on their own 23 with 6:33 to go. So Fremont-Mills up by 18. A potential rematch with Woodbine awaiting them if they're to finish the job here in the next 6.5 minutes. So 1st and 10 for Bedford. Dalton will have Nally with them in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left. Dalton looks like an option play. He'll pitch to Nally. Nally cuts up field, gets by 1 defender, keeps the legs moving to about the 31 before being stood up. So a gain of 8 will make it a 2nd and short coming up. And, Tom, you're in a really interesting spot now here if you're Bedford because you want to run the football, but the clock is not your friend.
Right, and, one of the few times that Bedford has gotten the ball to the outside to Nally. And, he's able to make a few guys miss with a gain of 8. I've talked about it a little bit all game long, just trying to get him into some space. But right now, like you said, just in an uncomfortable position for Bedford.
6 minutes to go, 2nd and 2 for Bedford from the 31-yard line. Dalton will have Nally in the backfield with him. Quarterback run, fakes the option. Dalton gets the first down and stumbles to the 35-yard line. Gain of 4 for Quentin Dalton. Will move the chains.
One of the things you had said earlier was the Fremont-Mills defense. Maybe they get overlooked a little bit. We're talking about a Bedford football team that came in averaging 62 points a game. This has just been unbelievable with the defensive performance from Fremont-Mills.
So a first down for Bedford at the 35-yard line after the 4-yard run by Dalton. Dalton out of the shotgun. Again, option, pitch right side, Nally. Cuts upfield, gets by a tackle in the backfield. And to the 39-yard line. Yeah, they are in the top 10 in scoring defense in 8-man this year, and that is with a game where they gave up 54 and a game where they gave up 40 against 2 juggernaut offenses in Woodbine and Audubon.
Yeah, you're going up against the number 2 and the number 5 team in state there when you're doing that. So I've just been really, really impressed. It's not the biggest Fremont-Mills team that I've seen, but, boy, are they extremely physical up front.
2nd and 6 coming up for Bedford, under 5 to go in this one. They got the ball near midfield. Dalton will run left side. Mason Reed covers him and drops him for a loss. Good open field tackle by Mason Reed. drops him for a 1-yard loss, and Reed is fired up.
Yeah, that's some pretty impressive footwork for a big guy like that to make a play. So, no, he's been a force out there all night long.
3rd down and 7 coming up for Bedford. 4.5 to go in this one. It was a 14-12 Bulldog lead at the break. 20-0 in the second half for the Knights. Dalton back to pass on 3rd down. Tipped. Coleman catches it. Had to come back to it, though. Only gets a handful of yards. They'll give him a good spot at the 39 of FM, so they gain 3. But now it's a 4th and 4 coming up for the Bulldogs.
And like you said, time is not on their side right now, Trevor. I really do think maybe a little bit of a hook and go might work right here if they're looking to do something. But first things first, you got to try to make sure you get that 1st down.
Yeah, 4th down, and any chance Bedford has of a comeback for the ages hinges on this play as we get under 4 minutes to go. Dalton with Nally back there with them. Back to pass. Pass caught. Rydell close to the 1st down. It's going to depend on the spot. I think they're going to give him the 1st down.
That's a good spot.
So he needed 4. He gets 4. So the drive stays alive for Bedford at the FM 35-yard line. But the clock continues to tick, 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 tick. So we get to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for Bedford. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dalton back to pass. Pressure coming. Pass is incomplete and out of the hands of Coleman. Gavin Crom, it came off our left side to get pressure to Dalton, and now it's 2nd and 10 with 3 minutes to go.
And one of the things like Coach Ernest had said earlier in the game is the amount of people that they're rotating right now on defense, on the defensive line, is kind of impressive. And, so they're getting some fresh guys in there because obviously Bedford's in a passing situation.
2nd and 10 now for Bedford from the 35. Bulldogs season potentially down to its final 3 minutes as Dalton will have Nally on his hip in a shotgun. Back to pass is Dalton. Pass is low on the far side. I don't know if it was tipped, but it just did not look right. He tried to go to Camden Powell, and it's incomplete, and now it's 3rd and 10 coming up for Bedford with 2:56 remaining.
Yeah, and probably okay that they dropped that one there, to be honest. So just once again, just putting themselves in a uncomfortable position.
So 3rd down coming up for the Bulldogs, the 35-yard line. With 2:56 remaining. Dalton 2 to the right as he'll drop back to pass. Pressure coming. It's a screen caught by Nally. Nally cuts upfield, breaking out tackle, still on his feet. 20, 10, foot race. He is pushed out of bounds inside the 5 by Sam Sanchez. Touchdown saving tackle made by Sanchez, but a big play from Dalton to Nally and the Bulldogs down inside the 5.
Yeah, and my son is down here with me, and I just pointed on one of my sheets to try to get Nally the ball as much as you can right now. And, what a great run there by him to get it almost into the end zone. But this is obviously a must-score situation.
Gain of 32 down to the 3 with 2:46 to go. 1st and goal for Bedford. They try to chase 3 scores. Dalton will run it, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Bedford. Bulldogs, a little bit of life. They've still got a long road ahead of them, but Quentin Dalton finds the end zone, and it's 32-20 with 2:43 to go.
Boy, Trevor, you said this earlier, how important are those 2-point conversions, and the one that, that they've gotten, Fremont-Mills did, it's just been big with some of these. So this is, right here, this is going to be big also.
Yeah, they were 0 for 4 on those tonight until the last one, the most important one, grew it to a 3-score lead. Bedford will go for 2. Dalton will have Nally back there with him in a shotgun. 2:43 to go. Dalton wanting to pass, and it's intercepted by Sam Sanchez. Those are not returnable in the high school game, but Sanchez gets the pick, and the 2-point try unsuccessful. So 2:43 to go. Fremont-Mills leads Bedford 32-20. You're seeing an onside kick here, I'd imagine. And Tom, I know coaches talk all the time about special teams. As a coach, how much were you practicing onside kicks?
We did it actually quite a bit. It was always the first part of each practice that we had. You work on your onside kicks. You work on your hands teams as well. You want to make sure that you've got people out there that are comfortable with the football in their hands right now if you're Fremont-Mills. And then, if you're Bedford, you got to get your athletes to one side. And you've got to have a luck of the bounce here also.
So Bedford will go for the onside kick. This is a Bulldog program that is no stranger to miraculous comebacks. You think back to their semifinal win over Gladbrook-Rhinebeck a couple of years ago. They looked dead in the water early in the fourth. They were down 14, end up winning on a walk-off field goal. Get it down to 12 with an onside kick coming from Case Coleman.
And they do have 3 timeouts left, if I'm not mistaken. So, there's hope even if you don't get it. But Fremont-Mills, you can see they're shifting their guys around also.
They've got 7 guys within 15 yards of the kick and then 1 guy back about 25, 30 yards. So Coleman will onside kick it. There was an offside. I think it's going to be on Bedford. Now, in the college or pro game, if there was an offsides, they wouldn't call it until after the kick, and then it would. But with the high school game, they re-kick it. So the false start will back them up 5.
Yeah, it's a good break for Bedford there also.
And, Tom, you mentioned you got to have somewhat of a luck of the bounce.
Yep.
Is there anything in particular when you're practicing onside kicks as the kicking team that you kind of emphasize or look for?
Yeah, we always try to make sure that you're looking. It would be equivalent to about the 35-yard line in the opposite side out of bounds marker. That way you're giving your athletes the angle of where it is we're trying to kick the ball, and very seldom did that happen.
Yeah, there's a reason onside kicks are hard to convert on.
Yep.
So Coleman will try it again. 2:43 to go in this one. Fremont-Mills leading Bedford 32-20. Maybe there's an issue with the clock. They just put a couple of seconds back on the clock. 2:45 remaining. So Coleman we're assuming onside kick it, and then it'll be a battle of the hands teams. Onside kick. Roller bobbled by Fremont-Mills. There's a scramble for it. I think Reed got on it for FM, but it ricocheted off the chest of a Knight and gave Bedford a hope for a moment, but Mason Reed comes up with it, and Fremont-Mills will take over on their own 40 with 2:42 to go. Bedford does have all 3 timeouts, so hay not in the barn yet, so to speak, but
right.
The Knights feeling good.
Yeah, and if you're Bedford, obviously you got to try. You're trying to strip the ball as much as you possibly can. Get as many people as you can to the football. Somebody to wrap up and somebody to strip here.
So 1st and 10 for Fremont-Mills from the 40-yard line. The Knights trying to ice this game and move on to a state quarterfinal. Forney will toss to Ekpai. Ekpai left side. First down and more. Ekpai, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Fremont-Mills. Jonathan Ekpai's 4th score of the night is the dagger from 40 out.
Have a game, big guy.
Jonathan Ekpai with a night to remember. Goes over 100 yards. Finds the end zone for a 4th time tonight and might have said night to the Bulldog season. And good for John Ekpai. Battled injuries throughout the season. Steps up when it matters most.
Very impressed with him tonight, Trevor. He's just been a force.
2:34 to go. Fremont-Mills will go for 2. Forney with Ekpai on his left hip out of a shotgun. Forney will keep it. He ends up running in for the successful 2-point try. And the Knights grow their lead to 40-20. We're going to step aside, take one more break. FM looks like on their way to a state quarterfinal here on the KMA Extreme online, KMAland.com.
Nutrient Ag Solutions takes the responsibility of growing seriously. As a leader in the ag sector, they provide their customers with complete agriculture solutions, including nutrients, crop protection products, seed, service, and digital tools for optimum customer success. Talk with Nutrient Ag Solutions in Westboro, Coyne, Percival, and Essex. Nutrient Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
Jonathan Ekpai's 4th touchdown of the night has grown Fremont-Mills' lead to 40-20 with 2:34 to go. And the Knights on the cusp of another date with their district foe, Woodbine. provided something bizarre doesn't occur in the next 154 seconds. What a night for the Knights.
Yeah.
Rycroft's kick will be fielded by Quentin Dalton on the right side of the 10-yard line. Dalton up to the 28-yard line, 27-yard line before being brought down. And, Tom, this is the Fremont-Mills team. They had to make a 3.5-hour road trip to Fort Dodge last week. Left with a dominant win. Shorter road trip, but still on the road, a place that is never easy to play at. And on their way to a win, and their reward, going to be another road game against a really, really good Woodbine team.
Yeah, but, it's obviously two different teams because I think that was back in early September, Trevor. So I've just been really impressed with them defensively-wise, especially tonight.
So 1st and 10 for Bedford from the 27-yard line. Option play to Ashton Nally, and he gets gobbled up by J.W. Lincoln Hoker for a 1-yard loss to the 26. Those two teams met back on September 12th. I did that game. Fremont-Mills hung with them for a quarter. They had a turnover that kind of proved costly for them. They had a miscue on a kickoff, the opening kick. That resulted in a safety, and they were without Jonathan Ekpai in that game. And Tom, I know the Fremont-Mills team you sometimes see in early September, very different than the one you might see in November.
Absolutely, and you don't want to be playing your best football at that time anyway. And obviously you can see that Greg's got his guys playing some outstanding team football right now.
2nd and 11 coming up for Bedford from the 26-yard line down to the final 2 minutes. Dalton back to pass, in and out of the hands of Coleman. And it'll be 3rd down. So Bedford looks like their season down to its final minute and 44, but another really good year for a Bulldogs program that since going down to 8-man about 8 or 9 years ago has consistently been at least, good, if not really, really good. 4th straight playoff appearance for them. Played in a state title game 2 years ago.
I think Coach Nally's just done an outstanding job. A lot of respect for what he's done with the program.
2nd and 11 now coming up for Bedford with 1:44 to go in this one. Dalton back to pass. Winds and fires downfield. Rydell has a step on his man, makes the catch inside the 10. Big play from Dalton to Rydell. And if you're Bedford, all you could have asked for was maybe for that to have come a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly. That was a heck of a pass and a great catch also. Just a fly route there, got behind the defense, just leaving it up there, letting your guys make a play.
Big gain of 48 from Dalton to Rydell will put the ball inside the 10 at the 6. We're down to the final 90 seconds of this game. Bedford trying to add one more score. Dalton will run, cuts back to the middle. Will be stopped at the 2-yard line. It's a Bedford team, and they're going to lose some seniors, but particularly the guy that's touching the football right there, Quentin Dalton. He's only a junior.
And not to mention, they've got Lucas Miner coming back.
They've got some youth.
They've got some big guys up front, so I still think the future's quite bright.
So a gain of 2 on the Dalton run as we get down under a minute to go. Dalton quarterback run, fighting for extra yardage, gets about 2 yards to the 2-yard line. We're down to 40 seconds to go in this one.
And right now, you just can't afford to obviously be tackled in bounds or not make the goal line in that situation with the clock under almost 40 seconds.
Yeah, at this point, you're pretty much, you're playing for the stats and for pride, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Down to the final 30 seconds. Bedford trying to finish their season on a high note. Dalton, quarterback run right side, breaks out a Lincoln Hoker ankle tackle, tries to get to the corner, and he does. Touchdown, Quentin Dalton. So Bedford, to their credit, doesn't give up. They tack on a score late with 19 seconds to go. Dalton finds the end zone for the 3rd time tonight and 24th time this season.
Once again, just got to the outside, utilizing his speed. Great play there from him, just athleticism.
So 40-26 the score with 18.6 to go. Bedford will go for 2. Dalton and Nally in the backfield. Dalton back to pass on this 2-point try. Floats it over the middle. Kason Churchill comes sliding in, makes the catch. And the 2-point try is successful to pull this within 12 at 40-28 with 19 ticks to go. And barring something absolutely out of this world, the Knights are moving on to a state quarterfinal. But, Tom, what a game here tonight between both teams.
Yeah, a couple of great programs, Trevor. We talked about it early on. Fremont-Mills making their 16th straight Coach Nally's got Bedford, 4 in a row, obviously here as well. It's been an outstanding football game. I mean, the score doesn't reflect how everything went throughout the course of this football game. So I'm just coming away very impressed with Fremont-Mills tonight and what they've done defensively to slow Bedford down.
So with 19 seconds to go, Bedford will kick it away. And I don't know if you onside kick it here and still give yourself a glimmer. As Coleman will put the ball on the tee. Trainer a winner tonight. The Cardinals are into a state quarterfinal as they roll past Hinton. We've got the Monday Night Football music blaring in the background before this kick. Coleman, well, not necessarily an onside kick, but just a short kick will be fielded by Fremont-Mills with Forney on the left side. And the Knights will take possession and go into the sweetest formation in all of football.
Absolutely.
With 18.1 to go. It was a dandy of a game here in Bedford, much like we thought it could be. Two of the top 10 teams in the state rankings battling it out. It was a 14-12 Bedford lead at the half, but the Knights had a big third quarter. A monster night from Jonathan Ekpai, who scored 4 times. And they are one snap away from making this one official. Forney goes down to a knee, and Fremont-Mills is among the final 8 left standing in the 8-player world as they get a 40-28 win over Bedford in a darn good game tonight. Tom Peterson, your thoughts?
Just coming away from this, like I said, defensively wise, I thought Fremont-Mills was outstanding. To me, they tried to make Bedford more one-dimensional. I think they were pretty successful at getting them behind the chains early on, and it kind of just came back to bite Bedford a little bit toward the end.
So Fremont-Mills moves to 8-2 on the year. They will go to Woodbine next Thursday night in a state quarterfinal. As for Bedford, their season comes to an end at 8-2. Looking forward to telling you all about this game online later on. KMAland.com. What a fun night here in Bedford. For Tom Peterson saying so long for KMA Sports, I'm Trevor Mader. Thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your night.